Welcome to Wednesday, April 8th.
The president has told us not to use those tools. He's told us to come to the negotiating table. But if the Iranians don't do the exact same thing, they're going to find out that the president of the United States is not one to mess around.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance speaking this morning about the 2-week ceasefire with Iran, calling it a fragile truce.
Empowers people to help lower their bills. It empowers people to be part of a solution to reducing emissions and taking control of electricity generation in their own hands.
The Saskatchewan NDP unveiling how they would handle the province's energy future, which they say would keep more money in your wallet. Now know who will rock the river in Saskatoon this summer. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning, Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Good morning and happy Wednesday.
See, I was teasing Janelle the last couple of days that you took days off so she could deliver the bad weather. Bad weather's still here. You're back.
It's still here. You know what? I tried to prolong the flu in my house long enough for the bad weather to go away so I could come back and say, hey, everything's great. Yeah. It didn't work. The flu decided to leave. So.
I think it's entering my place now. Let's get to news, and it is all about the roads this morning. The blast of winter weather is wreaking havoc on our highways. We'll start in central Saskatchewan. Bring up the map. Travel not recommended on highways surrounding North Battleford this morning. Same can be said for the highways around Waka and Prince Albert. You'll see those restrictions in blue on the map on your screen. All highways around Saskatoon are listing loose snow, slush, and ice. Here's a live look at Saskatoon this morning. Environment and Climate Change Canada says areas received between 15 and 20 centimeters, and you're looking at another 2 to 10 this morning as that system moves its way out to the east. Now, the Trans-Canada east and west of the city of Regina have winter driving condition designations. They are reporting snow, drifting snow, and ice. Highway 6 leaving Regina to the north has reduced visibility, swirling loose and drifting snow. Same conditions exist on highways around Swift Current. That stretch from Swift Current to Rush Lake is always rough whenever any weather hits. And all highways around Yorkton are listing winter driving conditions, reduced visibility, snow, ice, swirling snow. Travel not recommended on Highway 5 north of the city, running all the way from Kenora to Bruno. Kayleen will have your full forecast coming up in about 5 minutes' time. The U.S. and Iran are both claiming victory this morning with a 2-week ceasefire deal now in place and an agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. and Iran agreed to the 2-week ceasefire about 90 minutes before the U.S. president's deadline. President Trump said he agreed to the ceasefire on the condition that Iran agree to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Iran then put forward a 10-point proposal saying if attacks are halted, safe passage through the strait will be possible. So what happens now? Well, Pakistan has been acting as a mediator and has now invited both sides to talks in Islamabad on Friday. Pakistan's prime minister says there will be further negotiations for a conclusive agreement to settle all disputes. Meanwhile, the Israeli military has carried out a wave of airstrikes in southern Lebanon this morning. After the ceasefire was announced, Israel had said it would suspend strikes against Iran, but claimed Lebanon was not part of the ceasefire deal. This is despite Pakistan and Iran both stating that the ceasefire agreement did include Lebanon. We'll have to wait and see how the volatility in the oil market will affect those prices at the pump, but the Prime Minister says the government is looking at different ways to provide relief.
The question becomes, and this is what the government's focused on, is how long is this going to persist? And what can we do to help cushion the blow for Canadians? And that's something we're looking at.
Prime Minister Carney did not give details on what measures he had in mind or when relief could be coming. According to CAA, the average price of gas in Canada is just over $1.82 a litre. Other countries dealing with high fuel costs have measures like cutting taxes or capping prices in place right now. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has called on the Liberals to pause federal taxes on fuel. The Saskatchewan NDP unveiling how they would handle the province's energy future, which they say could keep more money in your wallet. Later this week, Carla Beck, month, the leader will introduce a full grid and growth plan. Part of that plan will include bringing back the province's suspended net metering program. This includes increasing the credit earned from self-generated power by 75%, allowing renters and others without suitable rooftops to buy into shared projects and receive bill credits through a co-op model. Net metering credits will then rise with retail power rates, which contrasts Sask Power's current plans of rising power rates with no added incentives. Sask Power recently announced it will continue its 2019 net metering rate until 2029.
Empowers people to help lower their bills. It empowers people to be part of a solution to reducing emissions and taking control of electricity generation in their own hands.
The province responded to the NDP's plans, saying the NDP have chosen to recycle the same unsustainable and ideologically driven plan first pushed by Ryan Miley when he was the leader and which was roundly rejected by the Saskatchewan public. The NDP program is unsustainable and would do nothing but drive up costs for other ratepayers. Police are investigating the death of a man in Saskatoon after being assaulted in Prince Albert. Jeremy Dodge, what is the latest here?
Daryl, this 50-year-old died of injuries he suffered during a fight with someone he knew at a home on 17th Street West in the evening of March 29th. The victim was taken to Victoria Hospital in Prince Albert. He was bleeding from the nose and mouth, but he left before being seen by a doctor. Then on April 2nd, he went back to Victoria Hospital, where he was cared for before being sent to Royal University Hospital in Saskatoon for further treatment. 3 days later, Prince Albert police were told the man died at RUH. An autopsy is being performed to determine the exact cause of his death. A crash on the western edge of the city yesterday saw traffic detoured for a little while. This was a scene clearly looks very different now. This was before the snow started falling. This was on Highway 7 near 11th Street West. A semi traveling in the area rolled, ended up on its side. Part of its load landed in the ditch with the rig blocking the roadway. No injuries were reported. Drivers asked to avoid the area at the time while crews worked to clear the scene, but everything is smooth sailing now. Just have the snow to contend with instead. All right, Daryl, City of Regina seeing some federal investment dollars.
That's right. Regina's South Trunk wastewater upgrade is now a reality thanks to an investment from the federal government. $29 million going toward the upgrade. It is part of the government's Build Communities Strong Fund, which is focused on municipal infrastructure. City of Regina has been advocating for a full upgrade, which, when complete, will improve the wastewater system, reduce flood risks, and protect the environment.
You know, this is one of those projects where we've been talking about the infrastructure deficit that we have. We've been talking about the need to catch up on that deficit, what it means in terms of growing our communities, helping with intensification, helping with basement flooding. This is a project that checks all those boxes. So it's an incredibly important investment into a very significant project.
The project is currently underway and will be starting its third phase this year. Well, it'll now cost you more to ride a bus in Regina. Starting today, a single ride will cost you $3.20. That applies to all fixed route and paratransit riders. The increase is expected to generate $585,000 in revenue for the city. The price hike was approved in this year's city budget. This year's lineup has been announced for Saskatoon's Rock the River.
Rock the River has always been about the experience and the fans who show up for it, regardless of the conditions, making it a true celebration of community and music.
Limblifter, Sloan, Everclear, Default, Collective Soul, they're going to be on the stage August 14th through to the 16th. It's going to be a great fun weekend. We're talking about warm weather activities, Kayleen, but when you look outside on our sky cams, you look at the pictures probably behind you, it doesn't quite feel that way.
Yeah, not so much today. Not really feeling like spring. Temperatures far below that seasonal average for this time of year. A lot of temperatures still in the negatives today, and we are still seeing some snowfall warnings in effect for parts of east central Saskatchewan this morning. Let's turn our attention now to the radar. There we go. If we want our clicker to work here, radar and satellite showing that, of course, we saw that snow falling around Saskatoon late yesterday, overnight. We also did see some freezing rain and regular rain down through southeast Saskatchewan as well. So roads are not going to be pretty this morning. Give yourself a little bit of extra time out on those roads. Currently, right now, we're still seeing some snow in areas around Saskatoon, Regina, Yorkton, and Estevan. Also down through the southwest, albeit a little bit less there. We're expecting some more of that snow to be falling mainly this morning. It does start moving off into Manitoba into the afternoon hours. This is at about 1:45 p.m. Still seeing some snow around the Parkland region and down through Estevan as well. Into Thursday overnight and into tomorrow morning very early, we start to see some more snow falling up north. Saskatoon also could be seeing just a few more flakes. Mainly we're just talking about some cloud cover for the next few days on and off. And then into Thursday afternoon, we see a very broken up system bringing some more precipitation. How much snow by the end of the day? Well, we're expecting about 6 more centimeters for areas around Yorkton, about 3 centimeters for Regina this morning, 1 centimeter for Swift Current and Moose Jaw, and about 2 more centimeters expected for Estevan. Saskatoon, you see that number at 0 right now, meaning it's going to be under a centimeter, but still just a few flakes this morning to start your day. Today's forecast, as we mentioned, below the seasonal average pretty much across the board this morning. -1 for Yorkton this afternoon, -2 for Regina with that cloud cover, 1 degree for Moose Jaw and Swift Current. Again, though, this morning seeing some of those flakes before they push off, and 0 degrees expected for Estevan. 7-day forecast looking better, though. 4 degrees tomorrow for Regina, 9 degrees by Friday with some more sunshine on the way. And that's also the day that we see the winds going down by quite a bit. 14 degrees on Saturday. That's looking like it's going to be the best day to get outside. 12 degrees on Sunday. However, we are expecting some more rain to be moving through the area. 1 degree on Monday and 5 degrees by Tuesday. In Saskatoon, up to 3 degrees tomorrow with a little bit more of that sunshine. 8 degrees by Friday. Again, that's the day we're seeing the winds really going down. 9 degrees on Saturday and some more rain on the way for Sunday. 5 degrees dropping down to -2 by Monday, though, with a few more flakes and a mix of sun and cloud for Tuesday, up to 5 degrees.
Well, it's been 8 years now since Logan Boulay died after injuries sustained in the Humboldt Broncos bus crash. His decision to become an organ donor kickstarted a national movement and Green Shirt Day. Quinn Keenan tells us more.
Logan Boulay was one of 16 people killed in the Humboldt Broncos bus crash in 2018. While he officially died on April 7th, Logan's family considers the 6th to be the day he passed. They now commemorate every April 7th as a day of celebration rather than mourning.
So we use it as much as we can as a celebration. Our Green Shirt Day skate, we give plasma today. It's just a day that we go for dinner tonight to one of Logan's favorite restaurants. Just a fun, we just try to make it a celebration.
Not long before he died, Logan had signed up to become an organ donor. He was inspired by his mentor and family friend Rick Suggett, whose organs saved the lives of 6 people when he died. Logan's organs likewise helped save 6 people.
Our hope is that we can create a new culture where people talk about organ and tissue donation, and it's not like a subject that's taboo or it's daunting, but it becomes more of an everyday topic.
Logan's story made national headlines. Almost 150,000 Canadians became organ donors following the crash. That has since been dubbed the Logan Boulay effect. Now, Green Shirt Day is celebrated every April 7th to promote organ donation.
By being able to donate has made an impact on so many, and to want them to be registered donors and for them to have conversations. So it makes me really proud to know that he continues to have an impact on people and inspire people.
Logan's family now spends much of their time working on the Green Shirt Day cause. They're proud to see how much of an impact Logan's story continues to have even 8 years later.
So we work all the time, and we like to do that. It's something, just want to do that.
Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Health Report, brought to you in part by SEIU West, Saskatchewan's first healthcare union.
Well, students at Saskatchewan Polytechnic were under pressure yesterday, showing off their cooking skills. The Prairie Fire Culinary Challenge put some top chefs to the test with a black box challenge. Competitors learned what secret ingredient would be needed for their entry. They then spent time planning out their signature dish. 8 Sask Poly students were mentored by senior chefs from top Saskatchewan restaurants like Prairie Sun, the Old Stone Inn, and Hearth Restaurant. Their instructor says the contestants will enhance their understanding of cooking, but this test also will teach them a lot about themselves.
So it's their own mini version of MasterChef Canada.
Yeah.
Pressure.
Love it.
I'm not good at coming up with on-the-spot stuff. I would need...
I feel like I could.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, I you know what, I'm not great at a lot of things. I think I'm a decent cook.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I could try.
Man.
Let's
not me. I would need, I'd be like, where's the YouTube video I follow word for word? That's how I cook.
Where's the AI that's going to teach me how to do all this thing?
Yeah.
Let's get over to our question of the day. National Zoo Day today.
Yeah, so we're asking you if you could have any animal as a pet, what would it be? And we're assuming that you can domesticate them in this question.
Yes.
Jeremy, what would you have?
I think he's going to go full Mike Tyson and get a tiger. What do you?
No, no way. I'm too chicken for that. I would like to get a turtle, honestly. If I had, they require a lot of specialized care if you want to, treat them right. But if it wasn't a matter of, finances and time and all that kind of things, I would like to go with a turtle.
I'm not in it for a 50-year commitment. I'd probably go with the koala bear.
Yeah. A koala, okay. Not in for a 50-year. How long do koala bears live?
Turtles live forever.
Oh,
they
yeah,
live
Yes.
There's a big problem with people dumping them in Wascana Center and just like, here, little fella, enjoy your life because I've had you for 10 years and I'm done.
Goodbye.
Yeah, and they can't survive out there, so
all right.
don't do it.
We want to hear from you. Yeah. If you could have any animal, what would it be? Text your name and your answer to 10400. Standard message rates may apply, or you can scan that QR code on your screen. As we go into a break, let's take a live look over the city of Regina.
Oil and gas prices are plummeting after the U.S. and Iran agreed to a 2-week ceasefire aimed at halting the American-Israeli military campaign in exchange for reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Brent fell as much as 16% before trading around $95 a barrel. European natural gas futures posted their biggest decline in more than 2 years, setting up to 20%. Prices of refined fuel, such as diesel and jet fuel, which had been the biggest threats to global inflation, also tumbled. And 2 ships have passed through the Strait of Hormuz since the agreement to reopen the waterway, all part of the ceasefire deal. The Marine Traffic Monitoring Group is the one reporting that. Now, during the 2-week ceasefire, passage through the strait will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces, according to Iran's foreign minister. Unless Iran peace talks progress rapidly, higher fertilizer prices may lower crop yields and fuel food inflation. The Bloomberg Agricultural Subindex gained 4% this year on concern over how farmers will respond to higher costs in the Northern Hemisphere planting season. It retreated less than 1% on news of the 2-week ceasefire. The last such commodity shock in 2022 stoked inflation for more than a year. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
As we go to break, here's a look at your gas prices. In Regina, the common price is $175.9 this morning. You might find it for as low as $152.9. In Saskatoon, the common price $171.9. You might find it for as low as $164.9. Here's a look at the farm markets now. The street price of canola at $663.43 per ton. The futures price $732.80 per ton. Amber durum wheat now at $278.59 per ton, and red spring wheat $278.42 per ton. And the Canadian dollar is up this morning. It's now trading at 71.91 cents U.S. Coming up in about 15 minutes. May not look like it outside, but spring fishing is here. Jason Matity has tips. Stay with us.
Good morning, just about 6:30. Welcome back to your morning. We begin in Ottawa, where they're facing backlash over facing the province's nuclear plans, investing in the supply chain to clear a path for future growth. Sierra D'Souza Butts now on a new nuclear project plan for the southeast.
With the goal of strengthening Canada's nuclear sector, the federal government is investing $625,000 for the Saskatchewan Industrial and Mining Suppliers Association.
It's not just about big projects. It's about making sure local businesses right here in Estevan and across Saskatchewan can be part of that nuclear future.
The funding aims to teach and spread awareness about opportunities in the nuclear supply chain to local businesses in southeast Saskatchewan.
We already are known as the energy city for oil and gas and for coal. This will add on to it, and it builds into the knowledge base that we already have in our community.
It's building this knowledge base. It's about the paperwork in nuclear power more than anything else. It's learning those systems. And then, obviously, then you meet the right companies to work with and such like. But the hard part is learning the paperwork, learning the processes, then making the connections to get going.
The province is also investing $286,000.
There hasn't been a new greenfield nuclear environment in North America in over 40 years. So there's a lot of steps we have to go through as a provincial government to meet all the criteria.
Southeast Tech Hub says building on the nuclear sector from the ground up in Estevan opens numerous opportunities for generations to come.
It's just this big, huge opportunity for us. And the kids that are going to our high school now, they can now envision a future where they can stay in the community in nuclear and make a good living. And that's amazing.
Adding, it plans to work closely with the Organization of Canadian Nuclear Industries based in Ontario to mirror the infrastructure, policies, and environmental programs they have in place. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Estevan.
Unions representing staff at Saskatchewan Polytechnic are raising concerns over the suspension and changes to more than 30 programs ahead of the next academic school year. The school's Faculty Association and the Saskatchewan Government and General Employees Unions say more than 110 employees have been laid off since last April, leading to program cuts, reduced student services, and increased workloads for remaining staff. SGEU takes particular issue with executive pay, saying Sask Polytech's top 3 leaders earn a combined $1.3 million, including nearly $600,000 to its president and CEO.
We are at an all-time recruitment, retention, staffing crisis in this province. And how are we going to rectify that if we do not have the services available?
The union wants the province to step in at this point, but the government says it does not make decisions about staffing and programming. Sask Polytech won't comment on salaries, but says suspensions and layoffs only occur when absolutely required and with robust due diligence. The CUSMA review deadline is now fast approaching, as a U.S. trade representative says at this point it's unlikely the deal will be met.
We want to resolve as much as we can. We've worked really closely with the Mexicans over the past year. They've resolved a lot of issues. The Canadians, we have some issues with them that haven't been resolved yet.
Jameson Greer, he says the U.S. administration most likely won't hash out all the trade issues with Canada and Mexico by July 1st. He does say he's optimistic they'll be resolved as soon as possible, though. Sticking points with Canada include liquor supply management by Canadian policies and the Online Streaming Act. July 1st is the date the U.S. needs to inform Canada and Mexico whether it wants to reopen the deal for a full renegotiation. Prime Minister Mark Carney is scheduled to speak with the newest members of the Association of Space Explorers tonight.
It's just so extraordinary. I just kept saying to them yesterday, I really like it up here. I wish I could have got here sooner. It's just such a tremendous place to be. The views are extraordinary. It's really fun to be floating around, and it just makes me feel like a little kid.
Of course, those members are Jeremy Hansen and his colleague, Christina Cook, and they return home from their trip around the moon. Members of the Association of Space Explorers must have completed at least one orbit of Earth in a spacecraft. It includes more than 400 people from 43 countries. A Saskatchewan law enforcement agency is seeking accreditation from one of the world's most elite policing organizations. Saskatchewan Protective Services must prove that it has been operating to the highest professional standards. So far, only 2 Canadian police forces have qualified with the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. Now, on Tuesday, Saskatchewan conservation officers, highway patrol members, and deputy sheriffs underwent final inspection toward that accreditation.
Well, I think what it does is it helps us attract people to want to become part of Provincial Protective Services, because it's essentially the gold standard across North America. And so knowing that we'll be CLIA accredited is just one more reason for someone to come and be involved in Provincial Protective Services.
Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies says only 800 of the 18,000 policing agencies in North America hold certification. The two in Canada are Camrose and Winnipeg. One of the best ways to protect yourself from e-transfer scams is turning on auto deposit, according to experts. Tech expert Brendan Schmidt says auto deposit eliminates the need for a password, reducing the risk of a transfer being intercepted. The advice comes after a recent CTV News story where a Saskatchewan woman lost $11,000 in an SGI payout in a suspected email takeover scam.
If you're being encouraged to do something, take pause, because in a lot of cases, bad actors will largely be focused on whether or not something is an immediate action because you need to claim something because you want it, or on the opposite side of the spectrum is something that you're going to face some sort of a penalty, so you must act now. Just take a second, think through it.
Canadians lost more than $704 million to fraud last year, according to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre. But that may only be a fraction of the real figure, with just 5 to 10% of cases believed to have been reported. Schmidt says many victims stay silent, often out of shame, but reporting fraud helps authorities track trends and direct resources to stop them. A collaboration between computer science students at the Edwards Schools of Business in Saskatoon, giving students a real-world edge as they prepare to enter the workforce. Around 80 students took part in a semester-long project designing, developing, and marketing their own video games. 4 teams each created a unique product combining tech skills with business strategy. The event also doubled as a networking opportunity, connecting students with people in the real world.
It's really exciting to be a part of this group and marketing games that, like, our college and our students that go to our college have spent time working on and creating. So it's been really fun to talk to them and understand what they would want from a marketing perspective, and that's been a blast.
Some of the student games could be released on platforms as early as the end of the month. A rare cushion from one of the Titanic's lifeboats is about to go up for auction. It comes with 4 brass eyelets still intact, and it still has the original lifeboat plaque. The artifact is expected to sell for more than $330,000. The item is being sold alongside an original length of rope from the ship and documents to verify its authenticity. The auction house says the seat was originally bought by the friend of a London tea importer, Richard William Smith, who drowned in the ship in 1912. It will be auctioned off on April 18th in England. And the NHL's Utah Mammoth have rolled out the best Zamboni ever built. It's my opinion, but it's also fact. Behold, it is the Zamoth. They've transformed their Zamboni into a mammoth and it's now patrolling the ice during intermission. If kids didn't love the Zamboni before, Kayleen, they're really going to love it now.
That is quite the thing to behold. Wow.
Isn't that spectacular?
Wow, you can't really take it all in. You got to really stare at it for a bit.
Woolly mammoths are going to take over northern Saskatchewan the way it looks out there today.
Yeah, I mean, our Skycam is a little frozen over this morning. It's a cold start to the day. We're at -5 right now in Regina. A few flakes so far this morning, of course, and we saw that overnight in Saskatoon, -5. Again, seeing a lot of ice on that Skycam this morning to start the day. Winds are also increased. So far this morning, we've been seeing them coming in between 30 to 40 kilometers per hour in Saskatoon and Regina. We are going to be seeing those winds into the afternoon in some places, but where we'll take a look at your map. Seeing the strongest winds down in that southeast corner of the province around Estevan. We see them hit 80 kilometers per hour this morning. So very, very windy this morning. Into the afternoon, they do seem to go down around around 1 o'clock, but still seeing them the strongest down in that southeast corner and around Yorkton as well. Regina could be seeing them up to about 45 kilometers per hour. Current temperatures now, they have gone down slightly this morning. Stony Rapids at -20, -20 in South End as well. -6 though in Prince Albert, so not so bad. -5 in Melfort. Down towards the south, we're seeing -7 in East End, -5 in Assiniboia, and -3 in Weyburn and Estevan. -4 right now to wake us up in Yorkton, and -6 in Wynyard. Saskatoon and Regina still at -5 to start your day. Currently out there, still seeing that snow falling in many areas in central and southern Saskatchewan, mainly towards the east, as we see that system trying to push off into Manitoba. It's not really going to succeed until the later parts of the afternoon. By about 2:15 p.m. mid-afternoon there, we still see some of those flakes falling in areas around Yorkton and down through Estevan as well. Into the overnight hours and early tomorrow, we see some more of that snow moving in from Alberta. We see some in areas around Prince Albert and around Saskatoon as well. And then into the afternoon, still seeing some more flurries, a little bit of rain down south as well. It's just a very broken up system. Today's forecast looking well below the seasonal average. That will change tomorrow when we see some more positive temperatures on the way. However, today though, only about 1 degree expected for Swift Current. Moose Jaw, we were expecting about 1 degree. That has actually gone down to 0 degrees. 1 degree expected for Weyburn and 0 degrees for Estevan. Again, keeping in mind all of that snow that you see on your screen, mainly falling in the morning hours and then pushing off for the later parts of the afternoon. 5-day forecast in Regina showing that we are going to be getting warmer as we look towards about Saturday, where we peak at 14 degrees with that mix of sun and clouds. Some more rain on the way for Sunday. In Saskatoon, 3 degrees tomorrow, 8 degrees by Friday, 9 degrees on Saturday, and again, some more rain on the way for Sunday.
Hello, everyone. Jermaine Franklin in the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment for that. We go to Boston. Hornets, Celtics in the second quarter. Con Knipple throws it up. Both Ryan Kalkbrenner and Brandon Miller go up and finish the alley-oop. Not something you see every day. A double oop? This is your must-see moment. And today on TSN, it's the Masters Par 3 contest ahead of Thursday's first round. Coverage begins at 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. That's it from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
For those of us that like to fish in southern Saskatchewan, well, we're a little sad that the fishing season is closed for the month of April. Or is it? To answer that, we have our fishing expert, Jason Matity of getfishing.ca. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So, we all thought that the fishing season was closed through until May 5th. Is that true?
Well, it's kind of true, and I'll explain. So, basically, for your more standard species like your pike, your walleye, your perch, and anywhere that they exist, those bodies of water are closed in southern Saskatchewan. And I define southern Saskatchewan from basically the La Ronge area south. It's not quite the hard line, but in the far north, the fishing season's open until April because it's colder and there's lots of ice and that type of thing. And the reason they do that is so that the pike, they're all spring spawners that I mentioned. So they're making their babies at this time of year on into May. So that's why they close it for that. But trout, and in particular stock trout, are still wide open in April.
All right, so if they don't reproduce, where do they come from?
Yeah, and that's the thing with stock trout is they don't reproduce, and right now you're seeing some footage of them feeding them at the provincial Saskatchewan hatchery near Fort Capel, and that's where they raise these trout that they stock all over the province. Millions of them, in fact, and they could be brook, they could be brown, they could be tigers, rainbows, quite a variety of trout all over the province. So they provide those opportunities for everyone in all these different locations.
All right,
yeah.
So we're looking for trout. Where can we find them?
Well, and it depends obviously where you are, but around Saskatoon, there's a number of options. There's the Forestry Farm, there's the Wildlife Federation Trout Pond. Closest one to Regina would be in Buffalo Pond, in Buffalo Pond Provincial Park, and there's also a really cool one near Rafferty at Main Prize. There's one there, and there's also a really good one in Yorkton, too.
All right, you also brought some tools to show us how we can catch them.
Yeah, and we really like spinners, but we really like the downsized spinners, and they're so small that the viewer's like, I can't see that. But basically, the Blue Fox Vibrax are one of our favorites. They make quite a lot of noise, and it's just that little bit of flash that they really, really like. And sorry, I'll put it put it this way, I can't remember which camera we're looking at, but there's that, and I also have what's called a spin jig. So this has got a flasher on it. It's smaller, but it's got like one of those cool curly tails as well. So that's a jig form in a spinner. So there's lots of different options for that, and as well.
All right, and if you're not looking for trout, May 5th is the golden date to remember, right?
Absolutely. That's when everything opens back up in the southern part of the province. Again, it's sort of staggered. So southern Saskatchewan, sort of Prince Albert and south, that's May 5th. The Laurentian again is the 15th, and the far north is May 25th. So it's sort of stagger reopens. But that's the time where everything reopens and everything gets really, really excited. And I'd love to come back and talk about that in May.
Well, we would love to have you back. For now, that was Jason Matity, our fishing expert. Head on over to getfishing.ca for more tips for your spring fishing. Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, let's check in with Janelle Lippi now, who packed up her camera and her microphone to enjoy a morning down at Tiger Lily Alpaca Ranch. Janelle, good morning.
Hi, Jeremy. Good morning. A little bit of a cool start here to our day, but you know what they say, when the day is cold, at least there's a lot of wind. So anyways, we've got some furry friends here, and of course, Carol Poole. Carol, thank you so much for having us out this morning.
Well, thank you for making the venture in the crazy storm. So really appreciate that you guys could come out and come and meet these two guys that we have here. I thought maybe you'd like to meet Perez and, of course, Springer and see what you thought of them.
Oh, I just love them. These are my favorite mornings. Carol, talk to me a little bit about these winter walks that have been going on this year.
Oh, yeah. So we've had a lot of fun doing winter walks on Saturdays. It's been we've done them a couple of times. The weather's been sometimes cooperative and sometimes hasn't, but they're just a lovely event. It's an hour and a half long. We walk with the alpacas. We go into the back pasture. We have a plowed, path for us to go on. And then we stop. We have a campfire. And I think some of the things that the kids like the most is we have cowboy s'mores and we have cowboy lattes and cowboy London fogs. So it's pretty fun that we offer these kind of fun drinks, and then we walk the boys back. We give them some treats. Of course, here, Mr. Springer is not behaving as he should.
Gotta split him up.
Gotta split him up. Yes. So we named him Springer after George Springer from the Blue Jays.
I love that. And I do hear that you have a Blue Jays pattern going on. Is that right?
I do. Yes. A lot of our alpacas are named after the Toronto Blue Jays. We thought that would be pretty fun. So
I love it. That is so much fun. We've got some sweet little angels with us here this morning. If somebody's looking for some more information, Carol, where can they go?
Oh, just go to the website to tigerlilyranch.ca and you'll see the Alpaca Walks page right on there, and you'll be able to go and find out all sorts of information.
All right, Carol. Well, thank you very, very much. Once again, you can head to that website on the bottom of your screen for a little bit more information, even to come out and meet these two little sweethearts.
Wonderful, Janelle. Thank you so much. Looking forward to checking back in with you in a little while.
It's April 8th, and we have these milestones to share with you. We'll start off with a belated birthday wish going out to Chad. He's just marked his 50th birthday. We hope it was a great day. Lots of love from Lori and Eric. Another belated birthday wish going out to country singer Chris Henderson. Hopefully this was your best birthday yet. We hope you enjoyed your special day. A big happy birthday going out to Tammy in North Battleford today. We hope you have an awesome day. This shout out coming from all of your friends. Enjoy. Also celebrating today is Logan. Happy birthday to you, with love from all of your family and friends. Have a fantastic birthday. Happy birthday wishes also going out to Brooklyn. Have a fabulous day. Lots of love coming your way from your mom, dad, and Archer. And here's a fun shout out that came with a limerick that says, there once was a gal named Leanne who's lived a long lifespan. She turns 65 today. Give a great big hooray. Have fun, girl, from your friend Fran.
Milestones, brought to you by Harbor Landing Village, an award-winning senior care and living community in Regina.
If you have a milestone coming up, send us an email to yourmorningsaskatchewan@ctv.ca or simply scan that QR code on your screen. Please send those in at least one day in advance.
Hey, it's burger maker extraordinaire Chase. Did you go home and try to make some on your own grill?
No, I need Kyle's supervision if I'm going to make something really good. And luckily, we had that yesterday. Went down to the paddy wagon, and Kyle took me behind the kitchen, and I got to flip, I got to smash, and came up with our great burger, Whiskey Business. So we'll have a video coming out for you tomorrow, but that burger is also going to be dropping tomorrow. All 3 paddy wagon locations, 2 here in Regina, 1 in Moose Jaw, and ooh, it is tasty, so good. And then the proceeds from that burger too are going to be going towards our Glow Pitch tournament, all in support of Telemiracle 2027. So starting tomorrow right until May 3rd, eat as many of those Whiskey Business burgers as you can from the paddy wagon. It's all for a great cause, and believe me, we had the early taste yesterday. They are worth it. So good.
And you can see it all happen tomorrow on the show. We're just in the editing process about 8:40 tomorrow morning. Chase, thank you.
Thanks. We'll see you next hour.
Me help you. You are hanging on by a very thin thread. And I dig that about you.
If Jerry Maguire had you at hello, it's time to say hello again. The romantic drama starring Tom Cruise, Renee Zellweger, and Oscar winner Cuba Gooding Jr. is back on the big screen for its 30th anniversary, April 12th, 14th, and 15th.
Agnes Mackenzie, this is Daisy. Make her feel comfortable.
The aunts from The Handmaid's Tale return in the sequel series, The Testaments, led by Ann Dowd as Aunt Lydia.
I think she's a different person, and therefore she fits into this new telling of a whole new kind of, it's still Gilead, but we haven't focused on these wonderful young people, and now we are.
Mabel Lee, who joins the cast as Aunt Vidala, was a huge fan of the original series.
I followed the whole show, so I have a strange parasocial relationship with Ann Dowd over here, who I love.
Hi, buddy.
The Testaments debuts today on Hulu. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
What did you come?
So everyone has bad days. If you're my kids, they were both yesterday simultaneously. So if you are having one today, you're off to a bad start. This video is for you.
'Cause you had a bad day, you take one down, sing a sad song just to
Apparently her day is worse. That's Alina, who is a German Olympic kite surfer. Here she is trying to float away on this hydrofoil surfboard at sunset, but instead just slowly down into the water.
What do you mean she's having a worse day? Look at that
seems
view.
Like a great day. I don't know.
Seems all right to me.
Who wrote this script?
Oh no, you had to go swimming in a beautiful location.
Wow.
Oh no.
So sad for you.
Also, Olympic kiteboarding. I wasn't aware that was a thing.
There you go. We've all learned one thing today.
All right, speaking of bad days, this guy out grocery shopping has had better ones.
This happens to me all the time.
So this woman just realized that her phone was on silent after sending her husband out to do some shopping. Look at all those texts. The messages are about the different kinds of eggs and doesn't know which ones to get.
Oh, and they get more and more violent, right? They're more like, why won't you answer your phone? Well, you're not getting it now. Now you got to go by yourself.
White eggs, brown eggs. There's so many different types of eggs. I just say to my husband, open them up, make sure they're not cracked before you bring them home, because he will just get them off the shelf. I'll come home, 3 of them are cracked.
Well, why not, right? Get cracking. Get yourself some breakfast. We're back after this. Welcome to Wednesday, April 8th.
The question people ask themselves every day, or they deal with the consequences every day, every time they go to the pump.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is facing questions about providing relief for people paying high fuel costs.
We are at an all-time recruitment, retention, staffing crisis in this province. And how are we going to rectify that if we do not have the services available?
Unions representing staff at Sask Polytech are raising concerns over the suspension and changes to more than 30 programs ahead of the next year.
Well, this is not for real, afraid to feel. I just hit the floor, don't ask for more. Now Winston, my child, my Winston.
We now know who will rock the river in Saskatoon this summer. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Your Morning. It is Daryl on the desk, back with finally.
Yeah.
Seems like it's been a long time.
Now I have to reintroduce myself. I'm Kayleen Sawatsky. I talk about the weather.
Okay. I would have thought that you were leaving for a music career because during that headlines with Dallas Smith, you were really giving it.
Yeah. Well, it's a good song.
I love that.
Dallas Smith, default.
I love that you love that. Yeah, either way, same thing. Let's get over to all of our roads because, my goodness, this blast of wintry weather is wreaking havoc on the roads. Where's my camera? Where are we going? Here we are. Let's show you the roads. That's the most important part. We'll start in central Saskatchewan. Some improvement surrounding highways in North Battleford this morning. Highways heading east and north are now upgraded from travel not recommended to partly covered. All those ones in Saskatoon, a lot of snow on those. Here is a live look at Saskatoon from our traffic camera. Snow is still falling. Traffic is moving slowly. Some areas received between 15 and 20 centimeters of snow, and you're looking at another 2 to 10 this morning as that system makes its way to the east. Here is a snapshot from the Highway 11 traffic cam at McDowell. This is facing east. Conditions there are less than ideal. This is Highway 11 at Blackstrap. This is also going to be facing east. Oh, that's actually improved, believe it or not. That's what they say. And under all of the snow on this one here, that's near Warman. There is a highway somewhere under there. All those shots via the highway hotline. TransCanada east and west of the city of Regina have winter driving designations. They're reporting snow, drifting snow and ice. Highway 6 leaving Regina to the north has reduced visibility, swirling snow and drifting snow, but is no longer travel not recommended. The same conditions exist on highways around Swift Current. The stretch from Swift Current to Rush Lake is always rough whenever any weather hits, but it is improving gradually as the sun comes up. And all highways around Yorkton are listing winter driving conditions, reduced visibility as well. Some snow-covered areas, that's in pink. The blue is travel not recommended. That's up towards Togo, Kamsack Beach, and areas around Kenora. Your full forecast with Kayleen is coming up in 5 minutes. Negotiations set to begin Friday on a ceasefire agreement between the U.S. and Iran.
The president has told us not to use those tools. He's told us to come to the negotiating table. But if the Iranians don't do the exact same thing, they're going to find out that the president of the United States is not one to mess around.
That's J.D. Vance speaking about a deal at an event in Hungary. Pakistan's prime minister says Iran has confirmed it will attend talks with the U.S. on Friday in Islamabad. Vance says Trump has told U.S. representatives who will be negotiating with Iran to do so in good faith, but warned Donald Trump is impatient to make progress. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte will meet with U.S. President in Washington later today. The visit comes at a critical time for the military alliance. Trump has criticized NATO members for not joining the United States and Israel in their military campaign against Iran. Trump has called the alliance a paper tiger and has questioned the value of continued U.S. membership. Prime Minister Mark Carney says the government is looking at ways to provide relief as market volatility continues to impact gas prices.
The question becomes, and this is what the government's focused on, is how long is this going to persist? And what can we do to help cushion the blow for Canadians? And that's something we're looking at.
Prime Minister Carney did not give details on what measures he has in mind or when relief could be coming. According to CAA, the average gas price in Canada is above $1.82 this morning. Other countries also providing relief to fuel costs, measures like cutting taxes or capping prices. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre yesterday floated the idea of pausing federal taxes on fuel. Saskatchewan NDP unveiling how they would handle the province's energy future, which they say would save you money. Later this week, Carla Beck, the leader, will introduce a full grid and growth plan. Part of that plan will include bringing back the province's suspended net metering program. This includes increasing the credit earned from self-generated power by 75%, allowing renters and others without suitable rooftops to buy into shared projects and receive bill credits through a co-op model. Net metering credits will then rise with retail power rates, which contrasts SaskPower's current plans of rising power rates with no added incentives. SaskPower recently announced it will continue its 2019 rates to 2029.
empowers people to help lower their bills. It empowers people to be part of a solution to reducing emissions and taking control of electricity generation in their own hands.
The province responded to the NDP's plan. The NDP, as they say, has chosen to recycle an old, unsustainable and ideological, easy for me to say, driven plan. First pushed by Ryan Miley when he was the leader of the party, which was roundly rejected by the Saskatchewan public. The NDP program is unsustainable, they say, and would do nothing but drive up costs. Police are investigating the death of a man who died in Saskatoon after being assaulted in Prince Albert. Jeremy Dodge, the latest if you could.
Thank you, Daryl. The 50-year-old died of injuries he suffered during a fight with someone he knew at a home on 17th Street in Prince Albert the evening of March 29th. He was taken to Victoria Hospital in PA, was bleeding from the nose and mouth, but left before being seen by a doctor. Then on April 2nd, he went back to Victoria Hospital, where he was cared for, before being sent to Royal University Hospital in Saskatoon for further treatment. And then 3 days later, Prince Albert police were told the man died at RUH. An autopsy is being performed to determine the cause of his death. There was a crash you may have seen on the western edge of the city yesterday. Traffic was detoured for a time. Here's the scene clearly before the snow started. Looks much different this morning, but this was Highway 7 near 11th Street West. Semi traveling in the area rolled, ended up on its side. Part of its load landed in the ditch with the rig blocking the roadway. No injuries reported, though drivers asked to avoid the area for a time while crews worked to clear the scene, but it got back up and going before too long, and now it's just the snow we have to worry about this morning. Well, Daryl, the city of Regina seeing some federal investment dollars.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. The Regina South Trunk wastewater upgrade is now a reality thanks to an investment from the feds. $29 million going toward the upgrade as part of the government's Build Communities Strong Fund. The city of Regina has been advocating for the upgrade, which will improve the wastewater system, reduce flood risk, they say, and protect the environment.
You know, this is one of those projects where we've been talking about the infrastructure deficit that we have. We've been talking about the need to catch up on that deficit, what it means in terms of growing our communities, helping with intensification, helping with basement flooding. This is a project that checks all those boxes. So it's an incredibly important investment into a very significant project.
The project is currently underway and starting its third phase this year. It'll now cost you more to ride a bus in Regina. Starting today, a single ride will cost you $3.20. That applies to all fixed routes and paratransit riders. The increase is expected to generate $585,000 in revenue for the city. The price hike approved in this year's city budget. A number of Saskatchewan law enforcement officers hope to earn the gold standard for professional excellence. The group of conservation officers, highway patrol members, and deputy sheriffs seeking accreditation from the Commission of Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. On Tuesday, the final inspection took place, and our Wayne Mantica was there.
These Saskatchewan officers want to meet the highest professional standards. They are taking part in an accreditation process.
We have a prisoner transport van that we use daily here on display. We have 3 separate pods.
The conservation officers, highway patrol members, and deputy sheriffs are known collectively as Provincial Protective Services. They were assessed by the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. Fewer than 1 in 18 police forces in North America have won the Gold Seal, and only 3 in Canada.
The standards themselves bring accountability to an agency. It is a wonderful leadership and operational guideline.
Meeting the highest standards would be an honor for these officers.
So I think it just made us more of a professional organization, so it just shored up some of the things that we thought we were already doing right.
It's a real big step forward to being recognized and being heard, and it's going to be one more accreditation in our belt.
Accreditation is a 5-step process of policy development, proof of compliance, and on-site assessment. This demonstration was the final step. A decision on accreditation is expected soon.
Well, I think what it does is it helps us attract people to want to become part of provincial protective services, because it is essentially the gold standard.
Police force accreditation is an ongoing process with frequent evaluation and upgrading of best practices. It will ensure that Saskatchewan's protective services is operating to the highest international standards. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Incredible new images are emerging from outer space as the Artemis 2 mission begins its trajectory back home toward Earth. Here's NBC's Tom Costello with a look.
Orion crew, a mega download of new lunar photos. Spectacular and humbling. Granular details of never-before-seen craters. A slice of the Earth 250,000 miles away. Then rising above the lunar pole, updating the iconic Apollo 8 picture from 1968. The massive Oriental Basin, the moon's Grand Canyon 600 miles across. The Terminator line between sunlight and darkness.
It is just like impossibly rugged.
And a stunning 53-minute solar eclipse. The crew photographing and donning their protective shades with the sun's corona burning around the edges.
I have to start with a giant wow. What you did yesterday really made a difference scientifically.
Today, awestruck lunar scientists were comparing the images to their own model. This afternoon with Orion back in the Earth's gravitational pull.
Integrity, this is the International Space Station.
A rare space-to-space radio conversation with astronauts on the space station.
We can tell that you guys are definitely experiencing moon joy, and I feel like even we are experiencing moon joy right now.
As the Orion crew speeds home at 1,300 miles per hour.
I'll breathe easier when we get through re-entry and everybody's under chutes and in the water.
The SJHL playoffs resume tonight. The Flin Flon Bombers beat the Weyburn Red Wings 2-1 last night. They'll look to go up 3-1 tonight. Puck drop at 7 o'clock in Weyburn. And the Battleford's North Stars edged the Yorkton Terriers 3-2 last night, so they'll also look to take a 3-1 series lead. Opening face-off slated for 7:30 p.m. They're going to hope the conditions get better throughout the day so they get some out-of-town traffic, too.
Yeah, I mean, hey, this morning, it was only about 30-ish minutes ago that we could actually see outside, at least in Regina. Now our sky cams in Regina and Saskatoon have both frozen over. We're seeing some of that precipitation this morning, not heavy amounts, but still seeing some light snowfall. In Saskatoon, we're at -5. Winds right now coming in at 37 kilometers per hour. And in Regina, still at -5 as well, but we're seeing winds a little bit stronger, currently coming in at 44 kilometers per hour. We're also under a snowfall warning in some parts of the province, mainly through east central Saskatchewan. So areas around Wynyard, Yorkton, seeing that snowfall warning still in effect. Now, Futurecast showing what's current out there to start, so still seeing some of that snow around Regina and Yorkton. It does seem to be pulling away from Saskatoon. Still seeing some flakes right now around Estevan as well. Into the afternoon hours, we do see it trying its best to make its way fully into Manitoba, just seeing some flurries still right in between Yorkton and Estevan. And then into the overnight hours, we do see some more coming in from the north, areas around Prince Albert and just south of Saskatoon, going to be seeing those flurries overnight and into tomorrow morning. And then into the afternoon hours, we see some more picking up, including some rain and freezing rain down south in areas around Regina. Total snowfall by the end of the day, now expecting about 6 more centimeters to fall in areas around Yorkton, about 3 centimeters for Regina, about 1 centimeter expected for Swift Current and Moose Jaw, and about 2 more centimeters by the end of the day in Estevan. However, keep in mind that most of this is going to be falling in the morning hours and pushing away for the afternoon. Today's forecast looking below that seasonal average as well. It is a cool day. -2 expected for Saskatoon and Regina, -1 for Yorkton, 1 degree expected for Swift Current, Moose Jaw and Weyburn, and about 0 degrees expected for Estevan. 5-day forecast does look like we get some improvements. 4 degrees tomorrow in Regina, 9 degrees on Friday with some more of that sunshine, 14 degrees by Saturday and 12 degrees on Sunday, but we're expecting some more rain to be making its way through the province. In Saskatoon, a bit of an improvement tomorrow, up to 3 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. 8 degrees on Friday. Friday is also the day we see a lot of those winds going down across the province. 9 degrees by Saturday with a mix of sun and cloud, and 5 degrees on Sunday with some rain on the way. All right, let's take a look at your rural forecast. We're seeing some winds this afternoon, especially around Melfort, -2 in Watrous, and some more snow on the way for Wynyard, -2, up to 1 degree in Outlook with that cloud cover into the afternoon. Down in the south, seeing more of that snow and more of those winds, especially down in the southeast corner of the province around Carlisle, -1, -2 in Broadview this afternoon, and -1 for Kenora. Again, seeing a few of those flakes. Let's take a look at Vibank, where internet plans up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel. We're more so talking about that snow falling in the morning hours, pushing away for the afternoon, just leaving that cloud cover, and -2 this afternoon. Winds could be gusting up to 50 kilometers per hour.
Hello, everyone. Jermaine Franklin in the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment for that. We go to Boston. Hornets, Celtics in the second quarter. Con Knipple throws it up. Both Ryan Kalkbrenner and Brandon Miller go up and finish the alley-oop. Not something you see every day. A double oop? This is your must-see moment. And today on TSN, it's the Masters Par 3 contest ahead of Thursday's first round. Coverage begins at 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. That's it from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
If you're a person that plays the lottery, this one is for you. Changes coming to Lotto Max starting Friday. The price of a ticket is going from $5 to $6. So if you get the extra, I guess that'd be $7 all in. But players will get 4 lines instead of 3. They'll also choose from 52 numbers instead of 50. So how does that affect the odds, you might ask? Well, they're going to go down. One statistics expert says the extra line will mostly offset more numbers. This should slightly decrease your odds of winning the big jackpot from 1 in 33.3 million to 1 in 33.4 million.
So the price goes up and your chances of winning goes down. Nice.
Like everything else. Yep.
Nice. Okay.
Yep. The price is wrong. Question of the day. Here's what I hope happens. It's National Zoo Day, by the way. If you could have any animal as a pet, what would it be? I hope you go to The Price is Right tonight. You get chosen to go on stage and you win a monkey.
Ooh. I mean,
Haven't you always wanted a monkey?
You know, that actually hasn't been on my list. It is on some of our viewers' lists, though, because that did come in as an answer. Starting, though, with Michelle, agreeing with Daryl that a koala bear would be the best pet if you could domesticate one. Karen saying panda or a Siberian tiger.
Could you imagine, you know, as a telemarketer or whatever, the door-to-door salesmen don't exist really anymore, but you come to the door and boom, there's a tiger.
Instead of beware of dog signs, beware of my Siberian tiger. Darren saying not sure if dinosaurs count, but I'd love to have a T-Rex as a pet. Why not? You have a great day, Darren. Why not?
Tough
Sheldon,
to train, I guess.
Sheldon from Wynyard saying if I got a pet from the zoo, it would be a monkey or a panda.
Darren better have a big house.
And Corey saying he's ready to be Tiger King 2.0. It's a little tiger. So we want to hear some more answers, though. If you could domesticate any animal, you could have one as a pet, what animal would it be? Text your name and your answer to 10400. Standard message rates may apply. Or scan that QR code on your screen. We'll be sharing some more answers in about 1 hour.
Tonight,
I was shocked that there's other women.
How multiple women discovered they're married to the same man.
After some digging, it turns out I'm not even the first one.
Just how many wives they found. W5 investigates tonight on CTV National News and ctvnews.ca.
Oil and gas prices are plummeting after the U.S. and Iran agreed to a 2-week ceasefire aimed at halting the American-Israeli military campaign in exchange for reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Brent fell as much as 16% before trading around $95 a barrel. European natural gas futures posted their biggest decline in more than 2 years, setting up to 20%. Prices of refined fuel, such as diesel and jet fuel, which had been the biggest threats to global inflation, also tumbled. And 2 ships have passed through the Strait of Hormuz since the agreement to reopen the waterway, all part of the ceasefire deal. The Marine Traffic Monitoring Group is the one reporting that. Now, during the 2-week ceasefire, passage through the strait will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces, according to Iran's foreign minister. Unless Iran peace talks progress rapidly, higher fertilizer prices may lower crop yields and fuel food inflation. The Bloomberg Agricultural Subindex gained 4% this year on concern over how farmers will respond to higher costs in the Northern Hemisphere planting season. It retreated less than 1% on news of the 2-week ceasefire. The last such commodity shock in 2022 stoked inflation for more than a year. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Time for your morning mystery. We are told it is a thing. 3 clues. Here we go. Clue number 1. Doing this for your health dates back to 460 BC with Hippocrates and Galen promoting it. Hippocrates and Galen promoting
like, what?
to cure diseases. The control room got a good laugh at that. Studies show doing this can lower chronic disease risk, boost brain plasticity, and improve mood and quality of life. And less than 50% of Canadians meet recommendations. Okay.
Oh, that's, well.
Gotta be this. Finally feel good about one of my answers. This last week's been rough. What do you got?
I feel like it's almost too easy. I got it wrong.
Exercise?
I put exercise.
Physical activity? It is.
Physical activity, right?
Exercise is the answer to today's morning mystery.
Hey!
Studio consideration provided by Father's Furniture, specializing in quality Canadian-made furniture.
As we go to break, here's a look at those gas prices in Regina and Saskatoon this morning. The common price in Regina, 175.9, and the common price in Saskatoon, 171.9. The lowest you might find in Regina is 152.9, and the lowest you might find in Saskatoon is 164.9. In the farm markets this morning, the street price of canola is at $663.43 per ton. The futures price, $732.80 per ton. Amber Durham wheat now at $278.59 per ton, and red spring wheat at $278.42 per ton. The Canadian dollar is up this morning, albeit slightly. It's at 71.91 cents U.S. After the break, why unions representing staff at Saskatchewan Polytechnic are sounding the alarm over program changes. Stay with us for those details.
.30, good morning. Thank you for being with us. Unions representing staff at Sask Polytech are raising concern over the suspension of several programs ahead of the next academic year. Stacey Hine with the worry.
More than 30 programs at Saskatchewan Polytechnic are undergoing changes, most being suspended ahead of the next academic year. Unions representing staff at the post-secondary say these changes could worsen workforce shortages across the province.
Some of those programs service many industries across the province and will no longer be available within the province.
We are at an all-time recruitment, retention, staffing crisis in this province. And how are we going to rectify that if we do not have the services available?
The program changes come as more than 130 staff have been laid off since last April. The school has cited financial pressures, including revenue shortfalls linked to a federal cap on international students. The unions are also taking issue with executive pay, saying the top 3 leaders earn a combined total of $1.3 million annually.
And that money can't go towards programming and staffing. That's shameful. That is just an absolute shame.
According to Saskatchewan Polytechnic's Payee Disclosure Report, President and CEO Larry Roja earned nearly $600,000 in 2024, or about $31.53 per student, roughly a third more per student than the presidents of the University of Saskatchewan and the University of Regina.
Our revenue stream is, 1/3 of what the U of S is, yet our president makes far more.
In a statement, Saskatchewan Polytechnic didn't comment on salaries, but says suspensions and layoffs only occur when absolutely required and with robust due diligence. It adds there's industry consultation to ensure in-demand workforce training remains a priority, and says leadership will continue to work with its partners to navigate this challenging time. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The deadline to review CUSMA is fast approaching, and a U.S. trade representative says at this point it is unlikely the deadline will be met.
We
want to resolve as much as we can. We've worked really closely with the Mexicans over the past year. They've resolved a lot of issues. The Canadians, we have some issues with them that haven't been resolved yet.
Jameson Greer says the U.S. administration most likely won't hash out all of its trade issues with Canada and Mexico by July 1st. He does say that he's optimistic they'll be resolved as soon as possible, though. Sticking points with Canada include, as you know, liquor, supply management, buy Canadian policies, and that online streaming act. July 1st is the date the U.S. needs to inform Canada and Mexico whether it wants to renegotiate the full deal. The Conservatives are not done clashing with the Liberals over a proposed high-speed rail line.
Legislation that benefits Alto was included in the finance minister's budget, and nothing ends up in the budget that the finance minister hasn't put eyes on.
Conservatives are calling on Ottawa's ethics commissioner to investigate the finance minister, François-Philippe Champagne. This is because his partner, Anne-Marie Godet, is vice president at Alto, the company, Crown company in charge of the rail project. In an email seen by CTV News, the ethics commissioner has told Mr. Champagne he is not in conflict of interest. Prime Minister Carney also defended the finance minister. An international headline describing Newfoundland as a freezing Canadian island is raising more than a few eyebrows in the province.
I just don't want to hear anybody badmouthing Newfoundland. You know, you don't get stranded here. You can't get stranded in the best province in the country, as far as I'm concerned.
Both the BBC and People magazine published similar headlines about a stranded British Airways flight, calling Newfoundland a freezing Canadian island. The description isn't sitting right with people in the province, as you can imagine. The flight from London was grounded for 2 days in St. John's, first for a medical emergency and then a temporary technical issue. Newfoundland's tourism minister wrote to People magazine saying it may be cold here, but it doesn't define us or make our homes any less warm to visitors. Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation is hoping a judge will shut down the Alberta separation referendum.
It didn't need to get to this point, but now that we're here, we really want to express to all governments that, you know, First Nations aren't going anywhere.
All right, so Chief Sheldon Sunshine says the potential referendum question asking if Alberta should separate from Canada is a violation of treaty rights. The group Stay Free Alberta started the petition, and just last week it said it collected more than 178,000 signatures needed to trigger a referendum. The court also heard since the start of the petition, campaign incidents of racism and misinformation about treaties have been on the rise. Saskatchewan Polytechnic students under pressure yesterday showing off their cooking skills. The Prairie Fire Culinary Challenge put some of the top chefs into a test. It's a black box challenge. Competitors learned what secret ingredient they'd be needing for their entry. Then they spent some time planning out their signature dishes. 8 Sask Polytech students were mentored by senior chefs from Sask restaurants, some of the top ones across the province. And their instructor says this will enhance their understanding of cooking, but also teach them a lot about themselves.
It's just super exciting to see the passion, looking all around the kitchen, how driven everyone is. Everyone wants to win. These young chefs are going to learn a lot about themselves today in these moments and really help them with their career moving forward.
The winning duo of senior chef and student will earn a spot at the Canadian Culinary Federation's national finals at the end of May in Waterloo. And we now know who will rock the river in Saskatoon this summer.
Rock the River has always been about the experience and the fans who show up for it, regardless of the conditions, making it a true celebration of community and music.
The 3-day concert series begins August 14th. It will be headlined by Collective Soul, Everclear, and Colin James. The undercard is pretty solid, too. It includes the Headstones, Northern Pikes, and Default. It's happening this year at Rotary Park. Surecom is the new presenting sponsor. Tickets go on sale Friday through Ticketmaster. Let's get over to the Weather Center and join Kayleen Sawatsky for another look outside if we can see one.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't. We could this morning, but since then, things have been freezing over out there this morning. And it's not just snow out in Regina. It's blowing snow as winds have been going up this morning. Right now they're coming in at 48 kilometers per hour and we're at -5, so not exactly a pleasant start to the day in Saskatoon. Again, earlier we could actually see outside. Right now you're getting a nice look at some ice crystals freezing over on our camera. -6 right now, so it has gone down just slightly. Winds coming in at 32 kilometers per hour to start your day. Today's wind gusts, we are talking about them going down into the later parts of the afternoon, but we just have to get there. This morning, Estevan seeing them surpassing 80 kilometers per hour. So the strongest winds in the province far down in that southeast corner. Yorkton also seeing them surpassing 60 kilometers per hour. Regina into the afternoon hours again, they will be going down, but until then, they'll be hovering around 50 kilometers per hour. Current temperatures out there still looking cold up north, minus 20 in Stony Rapids, minus 19 in South End, minus 12 in Spiritwood, and minus 5 in Hudson Bay. Down in the south, we're seeing more of the same, minus 7 in East End, minus 6 in Assiniboia, minus 4 in Estevan, and minus 4 in Yorkton, minus 6 to wake us up in Wynyard. Current conditions out there, all that purple out there is where we're still seeing that snow falling. Of course, as we remember, that started yesterday. It continued on through overnight. We do see it pulling away from Saskatchewan, though, so very, very soon those flakes that we saw outside this morning are going to be finishing for the day. Still seeing some flakes, though, into the mid to late afternoon there, right in the southeast corner of the province where we're seeing those strong winds. Into early tomorrow morning, we see some more of those flakes moving in from the north, and it's not exactly one large system. It's just very broken up, and it actually gets even more broken up into the later parts of the afternoon tomorrow. And we also see some green spots popping up down in the south, indicating some rain as well. Today's forecast looking below the seasonal average pretty much all across the board in the province today. 0 degrees for the Battlefords, minus 2 in Saskatoon this afternoon, and minus 2 in Regina. To put this into perspective, the average this time of year is about plus 10 for both cities. So again, as I mentioned, quite cold this afternoon. 1 degree for Swift Current, 1 degree for Moose Jaw, and 0 degrees for Estevan. Your 7-day forecast looking a bit better, though, getting to 9 degrees by Friday with that sun coming out. We also see the winds going down on that day, up to 14 degrees in Regina on Saturday, and some more rain on the way on Sunday. In Saskatoon, 8 degrees by Friday, 9 degrees on Saturday, dropping to 5 degrees on Sunday with that rain.
Been in the job for a little bit now, but it's time to check in with the Regina Police Chief, the official Regina Police Chief, Lorelei Davies. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
It's been a while. You've been settled into this role, into the new corner office. I'm sure. What's it been like?
It's been fantastic. The amount of support within the building and outside of the building, everybody has been incredibly positive. So yeah, I said it's been a whirlwind, but like in all the best ways.
One of the things you said when you were sworn in was that you wanted to see other young girls and women get into the policing field. Have you fielded more questions about it? Are more people signing up?
Yeah, well, definitely more questions, and had the opportunity to speak at a number of women's events, which has been fantastic. And so I think we'll slowly start to see the fruits of those of that labor, hopefully. We obviously had one of our recruits, Constable Des Aites, is our first black female officer, and so kudos to her. And so, yeah, I think we'll get there slowly for sure.
How has it been going in terms of building trust? Where are we making the most inroads?
Yeah, I think it's all areas of the city, really. We'll have our annual stakeholders breakfast coming up here within the next couple of months, so that's a big event for us, just to connect and touch base with all of our stakeholders that we interact with. But really just being out at community events, community associations, those are the interactions that really matter.
An extra $7.2 million in the budget this year for you guys. How does that meet your needs, or does it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we went into that budget saying this isn't a nice to have, these are the need to haves. And one of the big pieces for us was rolling out mental health monitoring for our frontline members. And so we've just started that within the last couple weeks. And that was an intentional investment, obviously, to protect the mental health of our frontline. But we're really excited about that.
Have those conversations gotten easier inside the building about mental health?
Yeah, I think so. I think there isn't the stigma that there used to be a number of years ago. And I think we have normalized the conversation and saying, like, be proactive with it. Talk to somebody before you're in a state where you feel like it's a crisis. And that's really what that mental health monitoring app is. Every day, take 60 seconds. Be mindful about how you're feeling with your mental health, your physical health. And even just that minute makes a difference in terms of how you can be proactive and take care of yourself.
The CFIB this morning released a a statement saying that shoplifting is impacting small businesses. It's probably the #1 driver of losses for them. How are we protecting small businesses in the community?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a pressure point. I know with our crime stats, we are seeing increases in some shoplifting files. And so we have a unit that focuses specifically on property crimes. Over the past number of months, they've done organized retail theft projects, working with some of our larger retailers and making a lot of arrests. We see sometimes, offenders are very prolific, and so one person can do a lot of damage. And so holding those people accountable and making arrests is certainly a good thing.
Are you having fun in the job? Are you able to have some fun?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. Our team, we've had a number of promotions, getting my team in place, and so they're all great. But yeah, this job is heavy, so you have to be able to have some fun as well.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us. This is the start of monthly visits for the police chief, so we will continue these conversations throughout the course of the year.
Here's what's happening in our community. The Club's 66 social dance is on April 10th at 7:30 p.m. It's being held at the Regina 55 Plus Community Center on the 2100 block of Winnipeg Street. For more information, you can call 306-529-6381. The new To You garage sale is on April 10th and 11th. It's being held at the Lakeview United Church on the 3200 block of McCallum Avenue. For more information, you can call 306-591-0221. The Supper and Live auction is on April 11th at 5 p.m. It's being held at the Kipling Rec Center, and for more information, you can call 306-736-3085. And the Old Time Dance is on April 11th at 6 p.m. It's being held at the Hazel Dell Recreation Center, and for more information, you can call 306-547-4284. You can submit your event to our community by visiting our website at ctvregina.ca and clicking Community Calendar.
All right, let's hoof it back over to Janelle Lippi. She's at the Tiger Lily Alpaca Ranch, finding out how we can all be a part of the fun this year. Janelle?
That's right. Hi, Jeremy. We are having a ton of fun this morning. I've, of course, got Carol back with me, and we've got one of our little furry friends here who we're going to learn how to shear. So, Carol, tell me a little bit about what we're going to do here, how this process works.
Okay, so we're actually going to use hand clippers.
Okay.
And we're going to what this little guy needs is he can't see very well when he's out in the pasture.
Okay.
And they're out in the pen, and so we're just gonna remove some of this long hair.
Okay.
So that he can see. He's like, wow, I can actually see stuff.
Okay, well, let's give you a little haircut.
Yeah, I'll just hold them.
Okay.
And you're just gonna take the little hand clippers, and you're just gonna trim just this long stuff right in here. So
okay.
He is going to love you.
Oh my goodness. All right, it's haircut time, buddy. Can I do this?
Yeah.
So I can kind of like judge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if I hold it out like that.
Yeah, you should be okay.
And then maybe I'll just, I'm nervous.
No, you can't hurt them.
Oops. Sorry about that. Buddy, we're going to help you out here a little bit.
So shearing these guys is really, really important. So we always shear in the spring.
Okay.
I have a team that comes in and helps us. And we... It's because their hair is so warm, it's so important to get all that fleece off them. Their hair doesn't ever fall out naturally.
Right.
It just continually grows, and so we need to do that to make sure that they're nice and cool for in the summer. The top of their head is called the top knot. So you're actually
the top knot.
Yes, you're actually like giving them a nice hairdo. It's a nice top knot.
Yeah. It's very nerve-wracking, but I think we're getting somewhere, buddy.
He's like, oh, you're beautiful.
Yes, now that I can see. All right, Carol, I'm going to continue working on this here. Try not to give him a bowl cut. We've all been there. But, Carol, thank you so much for this.
You're welcome. It was fun.
A wonderful job, Janelle. We look forward to seeing a little more progress when we check back in with you in a little while.
April 8th, and we have these milestones to share with you. We'll start off with a belated happy birthday wish going out to Chad. He's just marked his 50th birthday. We hope it was a great one. Lots of love from Lori and Eric. Another belated birthday wish going out to country singer Chris Henderson. Hopefully this was your best birthday yet. We hope you enjoyed your special day. A big happy birthday going out to Tammy in North Battleford today. We hope you have an awesome day. This shout out coming from all of your friends. Enjoy. Also celebrating today is Logan. Happy birthday to you with love from all of your family and friends. Have a fantastic day. Happy birthday wishes also going out to Brooklyn. Have a fabulous birthday. Lots of love coming your way from your mom, dad, and Archer. And here's a fun shout out that came with a limerick that says, there once was a gal named Leanne who's lived a long lifespan. She turns 65 today. Give a great big hooray. Have fun, girl, from your friend Fran.
Milestones, brought to you by Harbor Landing Village, an award-winning senior care and living community in Regina.
If you have a milestone coming up, send us an email to yourmorningsaskatchewan@ctv.ca or simply scan that QR code on your screen. Please send those in at least one day in advance.
What's going on today, Chase?
We got our Country Minute coming up after 8 o'clock. Lots of news to share. ACM, the first round of performers, have been announced. Post Malone will get you some details on his new album that is going to be the longest album of all time by the sounds of it. And Thomas Rhett had been teasing that collaboration with Marshmello last week. Well, we got a little more of that song that's going to be released on Friday. And on top of that, don't forget, too, to have us going here at 8 o'clock. That's going to be your next keyword for the $50K payday. Could win you that $50,000, and we'll also call up another daily winner for $500 just after 8 o'clock this morning.
Thanks very much, Chase. We'll see you again next hour.
Tomorrow, how about instead?
Okay, well, let's do all the things you want to do.
All right. See you tomorrow.
There comes a time when you have to take action. When you have to choose your own destiny.
Time to go back to Gilead. The Handmaid's Tale spin-off, The Testaments, premieres tonight on Hulu. It's based off Margaret Atwood's 2019 novel, which follows privileged girls nearing adulthood and takes place 5 years after the original Handmaid series. The new series explores themes of oppression and resistance.
There's a lot of topics and a lot of things that happen in The Handmaid's Tale that are unfortunately still happening to this day. And I think if people can watch our show and if any way feel emboldened to get off the couch and go out there and fight for their communities, fight for their neighbors unapologetically and with love and respect, I think that would be the ultimate gift for any of us.
Disney is the parent company of Hulu and ABC News. The Academy of Country Music Awards have added 3 more performers to their lineup. Casey Musgraves, Little Big Town, and Miranda Lambert will join a slate of previously announced performers. The ACM Awards will stream live on Prime Video May 17th.
Are we expecting people?
We have our first trailer for The Invite, the thriller directed by Olivia Wilde, who also stars in the film alongside Seth Rogen, Penelope Cruz, and Edward Norton. The Invite is set for a limited theatrical release beginning on June 26. And happy birthday to Patricia Arquette. The Academy Award-winning actress turns 58 today. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. Melissa Adon, ABC News.
All right, time for Sidebar.
All right, well, this guy, he goes grocery shopping. He's had some better days. Take a look. So this woman just realized her phone was on silent after sending her husband out to do the shopping. Look at all those texts.
I live this.
Yeah, kind of about the different, eggs and how he doesn't know which ones to get.
Oh, mine is anything. Could you go and grab the Aria a new pair of shoes? Great. Yeah, get to the store. What size? What color? What shape? Are we getting shoes? Are you still there? Does your phone exist? Did you pay your bill?
I make a point of finding out all these questions before I even leave the house from now.
Savvy veteran.
That's a veteran move, I think.
Expert.
Savvy veteran.
That's the only way.
All right, well, this kid probably thinks she's having a bad day, too.
Yep.
Kid is in goat. That is the perfect use
I like it.
for those pool noodles. Because can you imagine the damage on that house?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, this is improvising at its finest.
You ever feel like you're just banging your head against the door? This used to be way more effective. I believe this used to be way more effective.
Someone check on this goat.
Something's going on.
Is he okay? Oh, he just wants in the house.
He's probably mad about that collar. We're back right after this. It's Wednesday, April 8th.
The president has told us not to use those tools. He's told us to come to the negotiating table. But if the Iranians don't do the exact same thing, they're going to find out that the president of the United States is not one to mess around.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance speaking this morning about the 2-week ceasefire with Iran.
This is a good situation because we have a partner who can pursue her career, the Minister of Finance who can do his responsibilities.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is defending his finance minister from calls for an ethics probe involving a proposed high-speed rail project.
I am still living with your ghost, lonely and dreaming of the West Coast.
I don't know who will rock the river in Saskatoon this summer. If you're of a certain age, you're going to love it. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Happy Wednesday.
Did you recognize that song? You know that one?
I don't know that one.
Don't know that one. See, that's what I said. If you're of a certain age, certain vintage.
Yeah, 97 here.
My sister once kicked her kid out of the car for saying Backstreet Boys was oldies.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I could actually, I'm on your sister's side for that one, yeah.
Get out and you walk the rest of the way. It's a small town.
That's fair.
Small town, at least you can
I'm
get
on your sister's side.
6:01, let's get to news. We begin with that large blast of winter overnight affecting Saskatchewan roads. Let's take a look at the highway hotline. Highways are travel not recommended in the north for highways surrounding Prince Albert, east of North Battleford, and in the northeast around Melfort. Travel also not recommended on Highway 5 east of Saskatoon, with conditions improving to the south and west of the City Bridge. In the south, meanwhile, partly covered between Regina to Swift Current and heading east to Manitoba. That system is making its way east. 15 to 20 centimeters fell overnight in some parts of the province. Another 2 to 10 today. It should be Manitoba's problem by tomorrow. Iran and the United States and Israel have reached a 2-week ceasefire as U.S. President Donald Trump pulled back from his threats to destroy Iranian civilization. The U.S. president declared he will suspend the bombing of Iran for a period of 2 weeks, subject to complete, immediate, and safe reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. It's unclear what the exact terms of the ceasefire are, with Iran insisting it would charge tolls to passing ships in the strait. The two sides will now continue negotiations working through Pakistan, which has emerged as a key mediator. The Saskatchewan NDP is unveiling how they would handle the province's energy future, which they say would save you money. Later this week, Carla Beck, the leader of the party, will introduce a full grid and growth plan. Part of that plan includes bringing back the province's suspended net metering program. This includes increasing the credit earned from self-generated power by 75%, allowing renters and others without suitable rooftops to buy into share projects and receive bill credits through a co-op model. A net metering credit will then rise with the retail power rates, which contrasts Sask Power's current plans of rising power rates with no added incentives. Sask Power announced it will keep the 2019 rates until 2029.
Empowers people to help lower their bills. It empowers people to be part of a solution to reducing emissions and taking control of electricity generation in their own hands.
Okay, so the province responded to the NDP's plan, saying the NDP have chosen to recycle the same unsustainable and ideological-driven program, which rather was first pushed by Ryan Miley when he was NDP leader and roundly and soundly rejected by Saskatchewan people. The NDP program is unsustainable, they say, and would do nothing but drive up costs. Let's get to Saskatoon this morning in a death investigation. Jeremy Dodge.
Daryl, thank you. The 50-year-old man who died of injuries suffered during a fight with someone he knew last month. It was at a home on 17th Street West the evening of March 29th. The victim was taken to Victoria Hospital in Prince Albert as he was bleeding from the nose and mouth, but left before being seen by a doctor. Now, on April 2nd, he went back to Victoria Hospital, where he was cared for before being sent to Royal University Hospital in Saskatoon for further treatment. 3 days later, Prince Albert police were told the man died at RUH. An autopsy is being performed to determine the cause of his death. A crash on the western edge of Saskatoon yesterday saw traffic detoured for a while, and this was before the snow arrived. Here's the scene. The snow hadn't even started yet, so unclear what the cause was, but this was Highway 7 near 11th Street West. Semi traveling in the area rolled, ending up on its side. Part of its load landed in the ditch with the rig blocking the road. No injuries were reported. Drivers were asked to avoid the area while crews worked to clear the scene. It was open before too long, and now the snow is the thing that's out there slowing down traffic. All right, Daryl, Government of Canada officials making a stop in Saskatchewan this week.
Yeah, this time it was in the Queen City. The city of Regina improving its wastewater infrastructure. McFavel reports.
One of the City of Regina's major projects just got a financial boost thanks to the federal government. $29 million will go towards the South Trunk Wastewater Upgrade Project, which is set to enter its third phase of construction this year.
We've been talking about the infrastructure deficit that we have. We've been talking about the need to catch up on that deficit, what it means in terms of growing our communities, helping with intensification, helping with basement flooding. This is a project that checks all those boxes.
When complete, the wastewater upgrade will expand capacity limitations, helping reduce the risk of basement flooding, reduce sewage bypass into the environment, and will be ready for future population growth. Recent extreme weather events have been pushing the current system to its limit.
That's when we see the risk of our old system not being able to contain that extra inflow and infiltration of rainwater that mixes in with our sewer system, and that's the risk we see. And so this pipe being 4.1 kilometers wide and almost 2 meters in diameter, you can imagine how much more capacity that is actually going to provide for the city during those wet weather events.
The funds for the project are a part of the newly launched Build Communities Strong Fund, a federal program which will help build municipal infrastructure for the next decade.
Everybody wants in on this Canadian economy, and I just say that Saskatchewan, and in this instance, Regina counts. And these are some of the things that are really inspiring us as we travel right across the country.
The City of Regina have been in talks with Ottawa for over 6 months, getting this support finalized. The mayor says the new funds will go a long way in addressing the city's infrastructure deficit.
We do have catch up to do. So, this project was accounted for and budgeted for, but what this does is actually unlocks opportunity in terms of being able to finance further projects and start to catch up on that deficit that we know we have.
When complete, the underground piping will run from the McCarthy Boulevard pumping station to east of the airport. McFavel, CTV News, Regina.
A Saskatchewan law enforcement agency seeking accreditation from one of the world's most elite policing organizations. Saskatchewan Protective Services must prove that it has been operating at the highest professional standards. So far, only 2 Canadian police forces have qualified with the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. On Tuesday, conservation officers, highway patrol members, and deputy sheriffs underwent final inspection.
Well, I think what it does is it helps us attract people to want to become part of Provincial Protective Services, because it is essentially the gold standard across North America. And so knowing that we'll be CLIA accredited is just one more reason for someone to come and be involved in Provincial Protective Services.
The Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies says only 800 of the 18,000 policing agencies in North America hold certification, 2 in Canada, Camrose, Alberta, and Winnipeg, Manitoba. We are just days away until voters head to the polls in 3 crucial federal by-elections that could give Mark Carney's government a majority. Abigail Bimmen breaks down what's at stake.
A closely watched race in Terrebonne, Quebec, previously won by just 1 vote. And 2 in Toronto expected to stay Liberal red. Right now in Parliament, the minority Liberals hold 170 seats, the Conservatives 141. With 343 seats total, 2 by-election wins would officially get the Liberals a majority at 172.
The reality is it's actually a lot more complicated than that.
Political science professor Alex Marlin points to a number of factors. The Speaker, currently a Liberal, doesn't vote except in a tie. And in a tight majority, you need to make sure no one misses a vote. while the makeup of parliamentary committees doesn't suddenly change, not currently controlled by Liberals, so government business won't suddenly speed up.
Just because you happen to have a razor-thin majority, slightly more than half of the seats in the legislature, doesn't magically change an awful lot, other than in the narrative. The narrative for Mark Carney would become very, very positive, and by extension, it would be negative for Pierre Poilievre.
It would mean higher food prices, higher taxes, a ballooning deficit, which Mr. Carney has already doubled. It would mean that he could continue to block resource projects and give us the only shrinking economy in the G7.
That's why the third by-election in Terrebonne could make a difference, a tight fight between the Liberals and the Bloc. Add 4 floor crossers this session and questions about the future of a Trudeau cabinet minister, and you see why each seat matters. While the Prime Minister was clear, even with a majority, he wouldn't prorogue Parliament, launching a reset.
Absolutely not. It has never even entered my thinking.
There are more questions still about what could change the course of Parliament and government business. How the Prime Minister plans to fill growing Senate vacancies is one of them. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Conservatives are not done clashing with the Liberals over a proposed high-speed rail line.
The legislation that benefits Alto was included in the finance minister's budget, and nothing ends up in the budget that the finance minister hasn't put eyes on.
Conservatives are calling on Ottawa's ethics commissioner to investigate Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne because his partner Anne-Marie Godet is vice president of Alto, the Crown company in charge of that project. In an email seen by CTV News, the ethics commissioner has told Minister Champagne he is not in conflict of interest. The Prime Minister also defended his finance minister. Now to the Artemis II astronauts on their way home after completing a crucial step overnight, as we're getting stunning new images of the moon as it's never been seen before. Sam Champion reports.
Overnight, Artemis II astronauts completing the first of 3 trajectory burns. That's like tapping the gas on the car to put you in the right lane, as the crew now speeds back to Earth.
We just went sci-fi.
Stunning images captured by the record-setting astronauts who spent about 7 hours circling the moon with high-resolution cameras.
Okay, science, we're getting set up for sunrise.
Most notable images dubbed EarthSat, where we can now see the Earth below the moon's horizon, captured through the spacecraft window during the flyby of the moon.
This continues to be unreal. The sun has gone behind the moon.
As the astronauts were amazed by the moon eclipsing the sun from space on Monday evening.
It is absolutely spectacular, surreal.
As the sun slipped behind the moon, it put the crew in darkness for a full 54 minutes. So, of course, you take a selfie while wearing your solar protective glasses.
Of course you do. And that would be your profile picture for the rest of your life, right? That makes the most sense. We now know who will rock the river in Saskatoon this summer. Three-day concert series begins August 14th and will be headlined by Collective Soul, who you're hearing there, Everclear, and Colin James. The undercard features the Headstones, Northern Pikes, and Default. It's happening this year at Rotary Park. Surecom is the new presenting sponsor, and tickets go on sale Friday through Ticketmaster. As JHL playoffs resume tonight, the Flin Flon Bombers beat the Weyburn Red Wings 2-1 last night, so they'll look to go up 3-1 in their series tonight. Game 4, puck drops 7 o'clock in Weyburn, and the Battleford's North Stars edged the Yorkton Terriers 3-2 last night. They will also look to take a stranglehold on that series. Opening faceoff for that one slated at 7:30. Over to the Weather Center. Kayleen Sawatsky, can we see behind you yet? You still got yellow on the map.
No, unfortunately, we still couldn't see outside with those sky cams. They're frozen over this morning because of that weather system that we saw impacting central and southern Saskatchewan overnight. This morning, we still have some snowfall warnings in effect. So take a look at this map here. All those areas lit up in yellow. Still expecting some more of that snow this morning. Let's turn our attention now to the radar and satellite, though. All those places where we saw that system impacting overnight. tonight through central Saskatchewan, we still have some places on the highway hotline where we're continuing to see travel not recommended. So take a look at that if you are heading out on the roads this morning. Now, this is current on the Futurecast here. 8 a.m. this morning, still seeing some flurries around Yorkton, Regina, down through Estevan. Swift Current, still seeing just a few flakes. The total accumulation that we're expecting by the end of the day has gone down in Swift Current, though. It was at about 1 centimeter. Now it's gone below 1 centimeter. Yorkton, that number has also gone down from 6 centimeters expected by the end of the day to about 5 centimeters. Regina still expecting about 2 to 3 centimeters by the end of the day, mainly falling in the morning, though, because as you can see by the mid-afternoon, a lot of that system has made its way off into Manitoba. Some more snow on the way overnight and into early tomorrow morning, though. It's a much smaller system, so it's going to be very broken up, and it gets even more broken up into the afternoon hours as we see some more of that rain and freezing rain popping up down south. Also, with that snow this morning, it's not just snow, but it's blowing snow, especially down in the southeast corner of the province. Estevan seeing winds just barely getting up to about 80 kilometers per hour this morning. So again, a very gusty start to the day. Yorkton also seeing them surpassing 70 kilometers per hour in the morning. It goes down into the afternoon hours. Just still, it's going to be a bit of a windier afternoon than we're used to. Today's forecast also looking below the seasonal average and quite comfortably below that seasonal average. In Saskatoon and Regina, we're typically looking for temperatures around 10 degrees this time of year. Saskatoon and Regina both only reaching -2 this afternoon. 0 degrees for Moose Jaw, 0 degrees for Weyburn, and 0 degrees for Estevan. It is getting warmer, though. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, especially on Saturday down south, seeing some really nice temperatures. 14 degrees is what we're currently projecting for Regina. The wind's not going to be quite as strong. Some more rain on the way for Sunday, though, and that's also true for Saskatoon on Sunday. Some more rain on the way. Monday, we could be looking at some more snow as the temperatures drop. But again, enjoy the day on Saturday. That's expected to be the nicest in the 7-day forecast. 9 degrees for Saskatoon with a mix of sun and cloud.
This day in history, April 8th, 1994, Kurt Cobain was found dead at his home in Seattle. April 8th, 1990, Twin Peaks made its debut on network television. And April 8th, 1969, the first MLB game was played in Canada with the Montreal Expos beating the New York Mets 10-9. Oh, those poor Mets.
In case you missed it, a man from Calgary is skipping his way into the record books.
I remember trying jump rope for my first time in my lunch break, and a teacher saw my potential, so that she just brought me into school team, and I represented Hong Kong when I was at a young age.
This is Nathan Leung, and after moving to Canada, it took him 4 years to get back into the sport, but when he did, he didn't skip a beat. Recent provincial jump rope championships in Calgary, he achieved a whole bunch of new records. Whoa. He did the 30-second speed event, recording 100 jumps in 30 seconds. That's an Alberta record, ties the Canadian record. In the triple unders event, you can imagine what that is. Hard enough to do one. He tied an Alberta record with 203 triples. And then in the 3-minute speed endurance event, he had 490 jumps. 3 minutes.
Who's counting
this? That's a
this?
national record. He's now setting his sights on Worlds, which are going to be held in Norway next year.
It's one of those clicking pens.
I didn't.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know there were nationals in Norway, or nor that this was such a competitive sport. But
imagine being a competitor in that sport and seeing Nathan Leung walk in, and you just know it's over for you.
Yeah, that's it.
Aww.
Oh, silver's still nice.
Yeah.
I like silver.
Yeah.
Pretty color. Question today, it's National Zoo Day. So we've been asking you what animal, if you could, domesticate them, have them in your house. Which one would you have?
Just a couple other answers coming in since last hour. This is the Battle of the Lories on the first page. Lori number 1 wrote in and said, I've always wanted a baby monkey. And Lori number 2 wrote in and said, I would like a panda bear, maybe a baby panda bear.
You know what the Lories have agreed on? Chaos, because they're both going to wreck your house.
Yep.
different ways.
That would be disasters.
Leanne from Nipawin wrote in and said, if I would get a pet from the zoo, it would be a white tiger, a sloth, and an elephant. So not an or, it's and.
Okay.
Yes. So you want chaos, you go to Leanne's house up in Nipawin.
Right.
Corey wrote in and said he's going to be Tiger King 2.0. He wants a little tiger, a cub. Michelle saying a koala bear, agreeing with you, Daryl. We had Karen saying a Siberian tiger or a panda.
My dad won a monkey. My Uncle Keith actually won the monkey. They had it in their home in Dunblane, Saskatchewan, and they're a
story.
They're a terror.
I think it would be too chaotic for me.
They ate a lot of Chiquita bananas.
Darren saying a T-Rex. I'm not coming over to your house, Darren.
Nope.
And Sheldon from Wynyard saying it would be a monkey or a panda.
Just rolling all over the place. Health news on the other side of this break.
I was shocked that there is other women.
How multiple women discovered they're married to the same man.
After some digging, it turns out I'm not even the first one.
Just how many wives they found. W5 investigates tonight on CTV National News and ctvnews.ca.
Yesterday was Green Shirt Day, a chance to raise awareness about organ donation right across the country, honoring the life of Logan Boulay, a former Humboldt Bronco, and the effect he had, which is still felt to this day. Hallie Mandrick has the story.
8 years ago, Logan Boulay expressed his wish to become an organ donor. It's a decision that went on to save the lives of 6 people following his death in the Humboldt bus crash in 2018.
He would have said it was the right thing to do. He's not going to need his healthy organs where he was going. And so by being able to donate has made an impact on so many.
In his honor, his family started Green Shirt Day, which is marked every year on April 7th, to encourage more people to become organ and tissue donors. His story sparking the Logan Boulay effect, with an estimated 150,000 people becoming organ donors in the weeks following Boulay's death.
The wait list is so long in Canada. There's about 4,500 people who are waiting for those life-saving organ transplants, and some hundreds will pass away waiting for their transplants.
To mark the day, healthcare centres across Saskatchewan provided information about the process of organ donation. Lindy Brown says Green Shirt Day is a chance for loved ones to talk to one another about organ and tissue donation.
The most important thing is that your family is fully aware of your hopes and wishes, so that when a coordinator comes to speak with them, or a physician or the healthcare team, they are just fully aware of what your desires were, so that we can honor that.
For the Boulay family, Green Shirt Day is an opportunity to normalize a conversation that is often seen as difficult to have.
Our hope is that we can create a new culture where people talk about organ and tissue donation, and it's not like a subject that's taboo or it's daunting, but it becomes more of an everyday topic that people just talk about.
The number of people in Canada who signed up to donate following Logan Boulay's death is considered the largest bump in Canadian history. Anyone looking to register to be an organ donor in Saskatchewan can do so online at givelifesask.ca. And again, people are reminded to discuss their intentions with their families. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Health Report, brought to you in part by SEIU West, Saskatchewan's first healthcare union.
Greetings, everyone. For one Saskatchewan-born singer-songwriter, music has been a way to connect with her culture and who she is. Now, as her voice continues to be amplified, she's hoping to help others find that same connection. CTV's Stacey Hine has the story.
I come from a line of wild women.
Gia Carrier has been singing for as long as she can remember.
Music has always been something that was a part of me. My dad says that I actually sang before I talked.
The Indigenous artist says her love of storytelling and poetry naturally grew into songwriting.
I think as an Indigenous person, it's really embedded in who you are. It's a language and it's a way of communicating. So I think the fact that I became a performer and a singer was just me stepping into who I was always meant to be.
Once your muse trains you out for the next one to come along.
Her sound blends pop, rock, folk, and EDM. She released her self-titled EP in 2020 and last summer began rolling out singles from her follow-up, Be Hotter, ahead of a November 4th release. Her breakout track, Can I Be Her, climbed to #1 on SiriusXM's Indigenous Music Countdown in January. She says after years of Indigenous voices being silenced, it's important to see Indigenous representation today.
We weren't able to practice our language, our cultures, and so it's so vital for us to see ourselves represented in all industries and to have people who look like us, people to emulate, to want to be like.
For Carrier, that work doesn't stop with music. As a public speaker and author, she hopes to inspire Indigenous youth. Originally from Cumberland House, she says opportunities were limited in remote communities, and now she wants others to see what's possible.
You can, have a lack of resources, of support, of those things, but as long as you believe in yourself and you are determined and you find places where you can actually grow yourself and your crafts and master yourself, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Carrier says she has big plans ahead, with dreams of performing on stadium stages and at venues like Madison Square Garden. But for her, it's just as much about opening doors for the next generation. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle is brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
Time to say good morning. It is 8:30. Let's get to your headlines. Kindersley RCMP have arrested 4 people and seized drugs after a traffic stop. And there's what they found on April 3rd. Mounties say a search of a vehicle turned up 51 grams of fentanyl, 16 grams of meth, drug paraphernalia, unstamped tobacco, a small amount of heroin, and cash. 2 men and 1 of the 2 women between the ages of 43 and 45 were arrested and now face various charges. Ottawa is backing the province's nuclear plans, investing in the supply chain to clear a path for future growth. Sierra D'Souza Butts reports.
With the goal of strengthening Canada's nuclear sector, the federal government is investing $625,000 for the Saskatchewan Industrial and Mining Suppliers Association.
It's not just about big projects. It's about making sure local businesses right here in Estevan and across Saskatchewan can be part of that nuclear future.
The funding aims to teach and spread awareness about opportunities in the nuclear supply chain to local businesses in southeast Saskatchewan.
We already are known as the energy city for oil and gas and for coal. This will add on to it, and it builds into the knowledge base that we already have in our community.
It's building this knowledge base. It's about the paperwork in nuclear power more than anything else. It's learning those systems. And then, obviously, then you meet the right companies to work with and such like. But the hard part is learning the paperwork, learning the processes, then making the connections to get going.
The province is also investing $286,000.
There hasn't been a new greenfield nuclear environment in North America in over 40 years. So there's a lot of steps we have to go through as a provincial government to meet all the criteria.
Southeast Tech Hub says building on the nuclear sector from the ground up in Estevan opens numerous opportunities for generations to come.
It's just this big, huge opportunity for us. And the kids that are going to our high school now, they can now envision a future where they can stay in the community in nuclear and make a good living. And that's amazing.
Adding, it plans to work closely with the Organization of Canadian Nuclear Industries based in Ontario to mirror the infrastructure, policies, and environmental programs they have in place. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Estevan.
Unions representing staff at Saskatchewan Polytechnic are raising concerns over the suspension and changes to more than 30 programs of the next school year. The school's Faculty Association and the Saskatchewan Government and General Employees Union say more than 110 employees have been laid off since last April, leading to program cuts, reduced student services, and increased workloads for remaining staff. SGEU takes particular issue with executive pay, saying Sask Polytech's top 3 earners make a combined $1.3 million, including nearly $600,000 to its president and CEO.
We are at an all-time recruitment, retention, staffing crisis in this province. And how are we going to rectify that if we do not have the services available?
The union wants the province to step in, but the government says it does not make decisions about staffing and programming. Sask Polytech won't comment on salaries, but says suspensions and layoffs only occur when absolutely necessary and with robust due diligence. As scams have become more sophisticated with AI, experts say protecting your money comes down to small habits that can make a big difference, especially when it comes to e-transfers. Laura Woodward reports.
Make sure that auto deposit is enabled.
Tech expert Brennan Schmidt says one of the best ways to protect yourself from e-transfer scams is turning on auto deposit. It eliminates the need for a password, reducing the risk of a transfer being intercepted. The advice comes after a recent CTV news story where a Saskatchewan woman lost an $11,000 SGI payout in a suspected email takeover scam.
If you're being encouraged to do something, take pause, because in a lot of cases, bad actors will largely be focused on whether or not something is an immediate action because you need to claim something because you want it, or on the opposite side of the spectrum is something that you're going to face some sort of a penalty, so you must act now. Just take a second, think through it.
Jennifer Quaid, the executive director of the Canadian Cyber Threat Exchange, says always verify email addresses. In the email takeover scam, the e-transfer looked like it came from SGI, but was really from senderoffice811@gmail.com.
Or it'll be something that might be close to what you were expecting, but they've changed one letter, or they've used a small L instead of a capital I.
Canadians lost more than $704 million to fraud last year. But that may only be a fraction of the real figure, with just 5 to 10% of cases believed to be reported. Quaid says many victims stay silent, often out of shame.
And I think that's on us. I think we as a society need to normalize this happening to really smart people.
Talking about fraud not only helps others to stay vigilant, but reporting it can help authorities track trends and properly direct resources to stop scammers. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A first-time collaboration between computer science students and those in the Edwards School of Business at the U of S has turned a class project into a real-life power-up. As Carla Shinkaruk tells us, it's giving students real-world experience as they head into their final years of post-secondary.
Feedback survey, we'd love to hear from you.
These students aren't just playing games, they're leveling up their careers. The design, development, and marketing of a video game was the assignment for 80 students at the University of Saskatchewan this semester.
This is the culmination of an interdisciplinary collaboration between my class, Strategic Video Game Marketing, and Jason's class, Video Game Design.
4 teams created their own unique games, each combining technical skill with business strategy.
So this is the first time that computer science and Edwards have collaborated in this way.
But the project went beyond just building the game.
Didn't really have a complete plan about how the collaboration would work. We just kind of let that evolve organically and sort of see, this week the marketing students are doing a presentation, so my students watched it and they were able to learn about marketing through that.
For 3rd and 4th year students, the experience provided a hands-on look at what a career in the industry could look like.
So it's been really fun to talk to them and understand what they would want from a marketing perspective, and that's been a blast.
It was this student's final day in university, this project helping her in that next level after graduation.
We learned what it meant to work on a team.
working with the marketing students was extremely valuable, seeing how marketing works in an actual product and everything.
This event also served as their final project, instructors on hand tweaking marks. A winning project was announced based on the day's votes.
Crypt Keeper!
And these student-created games may not stop here. Some could be available on video game platforms as early as the end of this month. So for these students, it's definitely not game over. It's just the start. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Well, if you Google Celine Dion, you might notice something fun. A big blue balloon floats across the screen with the words, "Welcome back, Celine," the high note we've been waiting for, Paris 2026. The search engine did something similar to celebrate the singer's birthday this year, which was on March 30th. And as we told you yesterday, Celine has added 6 dates to her Paris concerts, in addition to her 10 original concert dates. The new shows will be between September 18th and October 17th. So, Kayleen, knock that in your calendar. Probably going to need that off because my francophone wife will die to be there.
Yeah, and you know what? She deserves it since last time it got canceled. So I will happily take over for you. You need to go to that.
We had great seats in Saskatoon, and then all of a sudden it was push back and push back and push back.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes fate steps in, but hey,
our heart will go on?
Get there someday. Yeah, your heart will go on. That's a good way to put it. All right, let's turn our attention out to the weather picture. Skycam not really showing us a lot this morning, but trust me when I say it is still snowing out there in Regina, -4 right now, and winds have gone down slightly. They're currently coming in at 37 kilometers per hour. In Saskatoon, still seeing some ice on those cameras. Again, we've been talking about some of that snow and blowing snow this morning. -5 to wake us up there, and winds right now coming in at 32 kilometers per hour. Up north, the conditions have improved slightly, -17 now in Stony Rapids. That has improved from about 30 minutes ago when we were still at -20. -10 in La Ronge, -7 in Nipawin, and -11 waking us up in Spiritwood. Down in the south, we're seeing -7 in Kindersley, -6 in Swift Current, -5 in Weyburn, and -4 in both Yorkton and Estevan right now. Later on into the afternoon, we'll be seeing temperatures far below that seasonal average in Saskatoon and Regina, -2 this afternoon, whereas the average is 10 degrees. So looking forward to some more positive temperatures tomorrow once we get past today. 0 degrees expected in Swift Current, Moose Jaw, Weyburn, and Estevan. And again, it's not just going to be snow, but it's going to be blowing snow, especially down in that southeast corner. In terms of how much snow today, well, most of it has come and gone, but by the end of the day, we're still going to be seeing about 4 more centimeters for Yorkton, about 1 more centimeter for Regina and Moose Jaw, and about 2 more centimeters down through Estevan. And again, it will be blowing snow, especially in the morning hours. We're seeing winds getting up to about 80 kilometers per hour with those gusts down through Estevan, up to about 60 to 70 kilometers per hour in Yorkton, about 50 kilometers per hour in Regina. Not so bad through Saskatoon into the later parts of the afternoon. Now, 7-day forecast for Regina, looking like we are going to be getting a taste of some warmth over the weekend. Before that, though, 4 degrees tomorrow, 9 degrees on Friday, and 14 degrees for your Saturday. Dropping down slightly, but still nice on Sunday, 12 degrees with some more of that rain on the way. Mainly cloudy on Monday, 1 degree, and 5 degrees on Tuesday, mix of sun and cloud. In Saskatoon, up to 3 degrees tomorrow, 8 degrees by Friday. Friday is the day that we're also going to be seeing those wind gusts going down. 9 degrees on Saturday, mix of sun and cloud. 5 degrees on Sunday, also expecting some more of that rain. However, on Monday, central Saskatchewan could be seeing a few more of those flakes dropping down to -2, and then on Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud, 5 degrees. That's okay. I figured.
Cause it would break my heart, break my heart, break my heart if I find out you can't move. It's so easy to fall in love with me. Oh, so sleepless in the onyx night, but now the sky is open light. Oh, 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 oh.
Let's graze our way now back to Tiger Lily Alpaca Ranch and see what else Janelle Lipai is getting up to.
Good morning. I am joined once again by Carol. Now, Carol, we did a little bit of shearing a little bit earlier, and we're talking all about the products that we can make from that wool now. So show me a little bit about what you got here.
So I've got moose. I've got a cat. It's not supposed to be on all the stuff. Oh my gosh. So this is all product that is made out of alpaca.
Okay.
And so I have slippers, we have toques, mitts, socks. The whole reason why we even have alpacas is because their hair is soft and it's fine. It's not itchy to touch it, and it's at least 5 times warmer than sheep's wool. So when you live in Saskatchewan and it seems that winter never ends, we just want to wear alpaca. So it's a lovely, lovely product to wear. Yeah, it's just a really nice thing. I get lots of my alpaca product. I sell all of my raw fleece. So when we shear the alpacas, I sell all of that fleece to a company in Outlook, Saskatchewan called Alpaca Naturally. And then, so they pay me premium funds for it. And then I can turn around and buy yarn, socks, quilt batting, all sorts of really cool products, and then sell it for people. So it's really nice. Yeah, I have an online store, so.
Yeah, well, we've been testing things out here, very, very soft. Now, Carol, before we wrap things up, 30 years you have been in the business.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
Oh, so much. So I started in 1996, and, I had a student loan and a car loan, and then discovered alpacas. It was kind of at the time when, it just means so much, and yeah, it's such a special time for us. So
yes, well, congratulations. 30 years is amazing, and so are all of these alpacas. We always have so much fun when we come out here. Carol, thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you so much for coming.
All right, well, if you're looking for a little bit more information, once again, you can head to that link popping up on your screen. Come on out, meet some of these cute little faces we've got behind us.
Back in 1988, well, things were 80s style. You're looking at rare footage of a Rider fan rally in Saskatoon ahead of the first preseason game to be held in the city. It was held at Kinsman Arena, and they had the cheerleaders, entertainment, and 80s prices too. These special t-shirts commemorating the game were going for $10. Oh, and seriously, if anyone actually still has one of these, let us know. Anyways, it was a fun way to get excited for the game. Then there was the matchup itself, the Riders and Blue Bombers. It happened on a grass field at Gordie Howe Bowl in Saskatoon where the Hilltops play. Guys were getting tackled into the long jump sand pit along the sideline. Yikes. The Rider defense was stellar. Check out Vince Goldsmith and Rick Klassen taking down Joe Pow Pow. The weather was nice, and attendance was great. Everyone was getting their tan on, and no, home internet didn't even exist. And Ken Austin was getting his game on with a rookie named Jeff Fairholm. He had a couple of big catches, including this touchdown. And how about Jeff Bentram to Rob Bresciani for another touchdown late in the contest? The Riders won handily 41-6. Here's Ken Austin after the game in shoulder pads way bigger than what you would see today.
They only ran 1 or 2 coverages. It was either man or 3 deep zone, and if you can't throw the ball with the kind of protection we got today and the receivers we have, you're not doing a very good job. So I don't think it's so much of a credit to me as it is to the other guys.
The first Rider preseason game held in Saskatoon in 1988.
And if you want to check out more classic sports moments from the days of Wilco and wood finish televisions, you can check them out on our website.
All right, everyone, gird your loins.
20 years after The Devil Wears Prada made its groundbreaking screen debut, Meryl Streep and Anna Wintour striking a playful pose on the cover of Vogue's May issue.
Don't I know you from somewhere? You do look familiar.
The two powerful women teaming up to promote the highly anticipated Devil Wears Prada 2.
I can't help but feel we have met before. Maybe you've seen my work. Maybe.
The global fashion queen clearly leaning into her fictional counterpart, telling Vogue, "It's such an honor to be played by Meryl, however distant Miranda is from myself. Who wouldn't think that that wasn't the most extraordinary gift?"
And I think it was also her understanding that, you know, the film was not going to go away. And to me, it was a real understanding of public relations and public image and taking control of a narrative in the best way that you can.
Cool shoes. Nice boots.
In an interview with The New Yorker last year, Wintour opening up about her reaction to the first film.
I think that the fashion industry were very sweetly concerned for me about the film, that it was going to paint me in some kind of difficult light. Then I went to see the film, and I found it highly enjoyable. And in the end, I thought it was a fair shot.
When rumors bubbled up about a sequel, Wintour says she called Streep directly, telling Vogue, "I knew she would tell me if it was going to be all right. She read the script, she called me back and said, 'Anna, I think it's going to be all right.' She told me very little about what happens in the film, but I trusted her implicitly."
People really love the film. Leaning into it really helps to elevate the company that she represents.
And Emily?
Yes.
That's all.
Deborah Roberts, ABC News, New York.
Nothing gets us higher than slipping into those dancing shoes and hitting the dance floor.
Unless you don't have shoes or feet, only for paws.
Yeah, there's a new dog series released in the last few weeks, and if you think teaching your dog to sit took you a long time, you got to see what these trainers and their pals can do.
Oh boy.
When the announcer calls my name, the world almost fades away.
Hulu's The Secret Life of Dancing Dogs takes us inside an absurdly adorable sport with many names.
In Norway, we call it creative obedience.
Back in 2022, Marianne and her dog Vega won the huge international competition depicted in the series called Crufts.
It takes like 5 seconds to show, but it's taken months and months and months to train.
There are two different categories, heel work to music and freestyle, and I don't want to get too into the specifics, but it's essentially what you see. A human and a best pal boogieing down together in a very well-rehearsed routine.
And then you get in the ring, you get to dance with your best friend being your dog.
Lorna here from the UK is just getting started with dog dancing after picking it up when she adopted her border collie Nora 4 years ago. At that time, Lorna had just been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, which thankfully she has since found treatment for. But at the time,
I ended up in a wheelchair about 8 months after my condition first started, and I was going to give up. And having Nora literally saved my life.
In the series, you can watch Lorna and Nora compete in their first Crufts together with Marianne by their side.
Lorna trying waffles from Norway.
In the last 4 years, Marianne has become Lorna's best friend and mentor, and I think that speaks to the international family that we all get a peek into with this show.
That's how I met Lorna. And friends for life.
Yeah.
I do have one question. How many metric tons of pepperoni do they go through in a year to teach them all those tricks? It's incredible. Anyway, The Secret Life of Dancing Dogs is now streaming on Hulu, which, as of this week, you can now also get on Disney+. In New York for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
I just looked it up. The show's from 2023, and I think it's 6 parts I need to watch.
I was just thinking, how can you even train a dog to do that? Because my family dog growing up, her name was Gigi, and wasn't the brightest bulb.
Okay.
She could learn exactly one trick at a time. If she learned sit, it was awesome. But then if you tried to also teach her lie down, and that's the only thing she knew how to do, she'd forget sit.
Oh, no.
And it was one trick at a time that she could learn. So congratulations to all of them.
No dance routine.
Yeah.
Best wishes, indeed. Time for our sidebar. All right, JD, take us home.
All right, so can a bird catch a cold? Well, this raven making a pretty convincing case. Yes. Good. That sneezing sound is coming from that raven. His name is Huxley. It's not actually sneezing. It's just mimicking the sound from one of the people who work at this Crow Rescue Society in Prince George. So he can make sneezing noises and can also say his own name. I had no idea ravens were such mimics.
Wow. I actually didn't know this either.
I thought ravens only said nevermore.
That's a good one.
The English literature.
That's good. I like that.
More than a week after it first showed up on the side of a mountain, the VW Beetle is still up there. It's in BC. So far, no one has taken credit for it. But the stunt does resemble similar pranks pulled by UBC engineering students. Statement from the mayor of Squamish says what may have felt like an innocent prank has had multiple direct and indirect impacts. This is an area that deserves respect, and that wasn't the case here. Trail near the car is closed, of course. Somebody's got to go get this car.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They're saying it should be gone by the end of the week.
Dangerous.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, imagine just trying to pull a funny prank and then having the mayor release that statement.
Do you know how hard it is to find parking in BC?
And
all
it's
that open
expensive,
space,
too.
it's fine.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, oh, boy. Are the conditions going to get any better today? Or is this what we're dealing with?
I mean, the morning it's still going to be snowing. It's going to be blowing snow, wind down through southeast Saskatchewan. But into the afternoon, we'll see that system moving into Manitoba.
Well, enjoy February 38th. We're back tomorrow.
Uh-huh.